Hello, everyone. Welcome to Beyond Life Paranormal Podcast. I'm your host, Russell Reynolds, and we got a good show tonight here on Saturday night. Before we get into the show, I want to quick plug an event for you guys. You can still get tickets to this event. I know she is still looking for some vendors also as well for this event. My dad and I will be at the Holiday Magic and Paranormal and Craft Bazaar December 6th. Come on out, see us, and all the vendors. We are VIP guests. We are on the paranormal panel at 1 p.m., and then we will be guest speaking shortly after at 2 o'clock. So you'll be able to come out and see us. Right after the convention, you will be able to come out and investigate with us at the old B&O Roundhouse in Cleveland, Ohio. All the info's on holidaymagic.com. Come on out and you can choose whoever you want to investigate with. Stacy Lee or the owners of the Doss House or us. So make sure you get your tickets for that. And then the next day, you will be able to go with us to the diner and actually have a farewell breakfast with all the guest speakers. So check out their website at www.holidaymagic.com for all your ticket info. So without further ado, we're going to bring our guest on. My guest tonight, he was supposed to be on last week, but life gets crazy. So when you're on the road, but he's here with us tonight. He is the host of Paranormal. I got to meet him at Rock Island Paracon. Some of you may have seen his promo video for Rock Island where he was digging through the trash. He brings the comedy to the paranormal, which is always good because most of you investigators know we're sitting in the dark for hours and a lot of times nothing's happening and it starts getting boring. We're either falling asleep. We need to do something to keep our mind entertained while we're waiting for paranormal activity to happen. So without further ado, let me bring my guest on, Michael Gagliano. Hey, Mike, welcome to the show.
Thanks, man. You brought up a great point. I think we all, when you get into the whole investigation thing, when I had my first experience, it was at I was at Deadwood at at a con, right? But they had like group investigations, and when I went,
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea how I was going to be accepted, because my mind is just I think so different. And I went dressed as a Ghostbuster, and I wore a mustache. I wore a fake mustache, so nobody could figure out who I was because I'm so famous, right? But it was. I could not believe how amazingly fun it was. And then after that, I went because that was my first time ever doing any type of investigation. That was like 2 years ago. Okay, so I mean recent. After that, I went and I watched like a lot of the paranormal expedition shows that they've got going on. You can only watch. I mean, love them or hate them, you can only watch Zach Baggins take the ring to Mordor so many times.
Right.
Okay, before you're just like, I can't anymore. I can't do this because you get to the point where you're like, well, hey, what's up, everybody? You start to think, gosh, is every time I'm going to do a haunted house, am I going to get possessed? Are there going to be demons? Are there going to be, am I going to be literally like scared to death? Right. And you're like, well, that's kind of defeats the entire purpose of wanting to know more about what you cannot know. Right.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to create this show. So I've got this TV show called Paranormal. It's on Beacon TV right now. And it's about a psychic / paranormal investigator Her name is Mary Lynn. She's been doing it for 20 plus years. And
Oh
I'm the
yeah.
idiot, and I'm the idiot. I don't know anything. But I wanted to show people that you could be literally yourself, and you're not everything is scary. Sometimes things don't happen, right? But that doesn't mean that you can't still have an excellent experience, learn something new, continue on your journey. That is your journey, right? Because I think that's the other thing too. We get stuck. We watch these shows and we think like,
Yep.
yes, but it has to be the process. You have to use this REM pod. You have to use the spirit box. You have to do the S. You have to do these things. You have to ask the certain questions, right? And I want to show you that you can do your own, be your own person, right? Because that's what life is. Life is about you being you, not you trying to be someone
Yep.
else or learn from someone else, right? It's you just trying to be you and trying to get in these experiences that maybe only you can experience. So that was the whole goal. That's the whole goal of the show, and we actually just finished wrapping. That's why I was on the road, couldn't make it. We just finished wrapping Paranormal season 2. We were filming for 2 months to get this bad boy done. It was hard, but we did it.
Oh wow. Yeah, I can't wait to check it out.
It's great fun. If you don't have Beacon TV, you can go to streambeacontv.com, or there's an app called Beacon TV. It looks like a bee with like a lighthouse in it. And you don't even need to put in any information. You don't need
Okay.
to do your credit card information or anything. The first, I think, for our show, I think like the first 3-4 episodes are completely free, and there's 8 episodes total. And if you like those and you decide you want to subscribe, I think it's only like $4.99 for the month. So it's a great deal. It's fantastic. There's now, we're hitting subscribers in the tens of thousands. So it's absolutely awesome, high quality stuff. Everything that we use is all Netflix quality. And eventually, as we have we try to do our best to make sure that our show goes exclusively to Beacon before it gets distributed to others, right? So yes, I'm here in the USA. I personally am actually in Las Vegas, Nevada. Well, Boulder City. I live right next to the Hoover Dam, if you're familiar with that. How am I feeling? I am alive, though I shouldn't be. For those of you that may know or may not know, I was involved in a very serious incident and I suffered from a severe traumatic brain injury. I died, but I never gave up. And even though I have no memory for about 7 days, 6, 7 days, just all of a sudden the lights just turned on and there I was. And when I first popped to, I couldn't walk. Um, that took a couple of weeks to figure that out. And, I'm permanently deaf now in my left ear. I permanently have lost my ability to smell. I still cannot taste, which is tough because I love snacks. But a lot of snacks I can't. There's either no taste or it tastes like deodorant or Carmex.
Oh
It is the
wow.
it is the weirdest. It is the weirdest thing. But I've still got surgery. I'm supposed to have some type of brain surgery and stuff like that. So I get to learn a little bit more about that. I think on the 19th, and I just kind of go from there. But I am making progress. I'm not giving up. And I think that's what we all have to do. You never know
Yeah.
when it's going to be your time to put everything onto your shoulders and figure it out. But that's what I'm going through right now. So that's what I'm doing. And I realized when I came to that what I wanted to do legacy wise was I wanted to continue to create. I wanted to continue to entertain uh, everyone. I feel like
Right.
that's how I can contribute in life right now. So I love it. Nope. Always. I've born and raised in Las Vegas. Born and raised. This is my jam. I love it here. I've traveled. I've been all over the country. I think the only states I have not been to: Maine, Vermont, Rhode Island, Alaska, and North Dakota. That's it.
You need to get out to Rhode Island. There's a lot of good history out there in Rhode Island.
I would love to see. I really want to go. I would love to see Rhode Island, Maine. I mean, these are some incredible places that are. I kind of like. I don't want to say they're off the beaten path, but they're not places you would typically think of, right? to go, and I would really like to check those out. And as weird as it sounds, I would really like to go back and do a little investigation in Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Okay.
Uh,
Yep.
that place, I've been there once, and I was like, "Ooh, I gotta get back."
British Columbia is another good spot because we're part of the Cold Spotters family that's from British Columbia, and they've got a lot
Okay.
of good stuff up there. Amanda does a lot of tours in Westminster, British Columbia.
Wow. Okay, that would be cool, man. Yeah, I can have. I assume they have fish and chips because it's British, right? I can
Yep.
have crumpets. Go and eat some
Yeah.
crumpets.
That's where
Mmm.
most of my family's all from Rhode Island.
Really?
Yep.
You looked like a family guy. I just wasn't gonna say it.
Yeah, I'm originally from the East Coast. I grew up in
Wow.
New York.
Really?
Yep.
See, I can't do the cold, man. That's the thing. I can't. It gets too dang cold, man. Too dang cold. I can't do it. I've only ever been in snow one time when I was 16, and they told me to dress warm. I put on two pairs of jeans. It was not enough. I could not feel my ass, and I said I will never go back, and I haven't. Oh, so the findings. So, what's really interesting about so they found a bunch of bodies. You've heard some things about they put some bodies. They found some bodies in containers, like not shipping containers, but like oil containers, oil drums.
Hmm.
So, and they're like, yeah, they found like 10, 15. No, they were finding like one every day. I mean, so many that they actually had lawyers that actually had to put up billboards that said, "Hey, were you injured while trying to find a dead body at Lake Mead? You might be entitled to compensation." This is a real thing. So I've not gone out there to look for the dead bodies because be careful what you look for. You just might find it,
Right.
But my all my family was in the mob, so I also don't want anything to accidentally tie back to me. You never know.
Right.
What was that? Father and son fishing
Father
in?
and
Oh, were you two? Oh, that's cool.
but
Uh,
yeah, the Rhode Island crew goes all the way back to my fourth great grandfather. Supposedly,
okay,
there's a big monument out there in Rhode Island for him,
really?
and
Have you
that's
seen it? Have you seen the monument or no?
I have not seen it. Rhode Island's on my. We're going next year. We're going back to Connecticut to see family, see John Zaffis and my Warren's family, and we're gonna go to Rhode Island. So
Where are the Warrens in Rhode Island?
they're in Connecticut.
Oh, okay.
Yep, the house
I
is
wasn't sure.
in West Monroe, Connecticut.
Really? West Monroe,
Yep,
Connecticut.
yep.
Okay. I've been through Connecticut, but I don't know that I've actually spent like any because Connecticut's so small. It's
Yeah.
like you literally can drive through Connecticut and go, "Oh shit, was that?" And then it's gone.
Right.
Especially because you guys are, if you're from the East Coast, a lot of things are all kind of clumped together.
Yep.
Out here on the West Coast, the next closest city to us is at least 4 hours to get to either. It's like 4 hours to LA or it's like 5 hours to get to Phoenix. And
Right.
it's 8 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours to get up to Reno, which is the only other large city in Nevada. Other than
Right.
we have like a little suburb called Pahrump, and like I'm in Boulder City, which is another like little suburb, but like actual city, like
Hmm.
Baltimore is right next to DC, and it's all right next to Philadelphia, and it's all right next to New York, and I mean everything's like that over there. It's not like that here.
Missouri's kind of like that, but like Kansas City's only like an hour from where I live. But
Oh
like
wow.
the state capital's 2 hours. St. Joe's the other big city. That's like 50 minutes.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
So, and then you got Springfield, which is about 2 hours.
Really? So when you go, like you're in Missouri, is that right?
Yep.
So what's your go-to there? Like, I mean, if you still live there after all this time, I mean, why? What is it that drives you to say, "Oh man, I love this place"?
It's cheaper living out here, and
That's
the
fair.
history is crazy out here. I mean, you've got your Civil War history, you've got your Mormon massacre histories.
Oh, I didn't know that happened in Missouri.
Oh yeah, the Battle of Crooked River, and then the Hans Mill massacre.
The
Were-
Battle of Crooked River.
Yep,
Man, it makes you wonder what would happen if the river was straight.
right. I've actually investigated out there. I got family that owns property where the battle actually happened, where General Boggs got killed by one of the Mormons.
Dang. So you're gonna have to tell me where you don't have family.
Right?
That-
I got family all over the place.
that's
It's
that's
hard
awesome.
to. I'm starting to find them more and more. I found family in
I get it.
Arkansas.
So all of my family, my last name is Gagliano, but Galliano is Sicilian, Palermo,
Hmm.
and all my family migrated in 1913. What got me into the paranormal book stories passed down, TV, radio, personal experiences? Okay, yeah. Well, let me start by my family, I guess. So 1913, the Gallianos, hi, they migrated down from Sicily to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, actually, which is amazing. So all my family we're all Packers fans since the 20s. Okay, so it is a I guess I'm the third generation. My grandfather was there in 1913 when he was born. He started off as a Packers fan and a Cubs fan, so that's interesting. But my grandpa during the Great Depression, he was uh, had no money. He was already married to his wife, high school sweetheart, my Grandma Verney. Um, Desperately trying to find ways to make money because back then, especially during the Depression, uh, if you were in it for money, you might as well get effed because it just wasn't there. So
Right.
my grandfather was very, very good at pool. So he would go play billiards in Chicago as a shark. So he would go in, set people up, lose, 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 then say, "Oh no, I know I can do it. I know I can do it one more time. Let me do all or nothing," and then he would just clean house. Well, he happened to do that to a ranking mobster by the name of Eddie Cellini at the time. And Eddie Cellini was like, "Hey, you're wasting your talents. I need to show you what we're doing because that's where the money is." And my grandpa was like, I need anything. I'm trying to fight. I'm trying to feed everyone. He's married. His family, he was the youngest of like 19 kids. So there's a
Hmm.
lot of Gallianos out there. Okay. So he wound up learning all about speakeasies, casinos, underground casinos. He ran books. My grandfather was actually chased out of a window in Chicago by Elliot Ness. Elliot didn't want anything to do with him because at the time he was just a bookie runner. He was
Right.
nobody. It's not the reason why he was there. But scared the ever loving bejesus out of my grandpa so much that he told me the story over and over again. Um, and after that, he got into doing the casino work. He ran casinos. He opened casinos in Cuba prior to the revolution, got stuck there for about 2.5 years during the revolution. After that, he went to the Bahamas. There was a place called the Paradise Island, which has now been renovated and is now the Atlantis in Nassau. But it was originally created to be Paradise Island, which was a place for the mob to move money.
Hmm.
It's also where they found Howard Hughes all kind of cracked out naked in his room, and the FBI arrested him. So he had been in the casino for almost 6 months. My grandpa left him up on the top floor. He had the entire top floor to himself. My grandfather said he could do whatever he wanted. He loved my grandma and my grandpa so much, he actually wound up buying realty right across from my grandfather in Vegas. So where our original, I guess, ancestral home was, just caddy corner from us, up across the way was a much, much, much bigger Howard Hughes home. However, he never moved into it. It obviously got sold because he went to jail and then died. But that's basically the whole background into my family. At least from the Galliano side. To get into the paranormal, man, I'm gonna tell you right now, I was a lost soul. I had no idea what I was doing. I, I was a comedian, and I did radio shows, and I was a radio host. I've interviewed like Howie Mandel, Weird Al Yankovic, I've Journey, Boyce Avenue, Sinbad. So I mean, that was kind of what I was. That was what
Mm-hmm.
I did. A lot of Vegas celebrities. I've interviewed a lot of those. Chris Angel. I've interviewed Zach Baggins in 2010. It was a very weird interview, but it was an hour long. I learned a lot about his Lamborghini, which was cool. So the owner of the radio station, he actually just up and died. Uh, yes, low key me. Yeah. Um, he up and died. He had congestive heart failure. Nobody knew. I mean, it was very sudden. And that kind of left a lot of us in like disarray. I didn't know what to do, so I quit. I had a show going at the time called Two Clueless Dudes. And I had another show at the time called Mad Mike's High Power Hour, the only 2-hour show that's 15 minutes long. But I just didn't know what to do anymore. I felt lost. And here I am. I'm just on the internet, right? I got it up on my TV, and then I see this um, interview come up with Mary Lynn Bast. Now, I've met Mary Lynn prior when I was doing the radio show. We got along pretty well. Um, and I was like, what is she doing? So I went on and I'm just typing away. I'm chatting with her. And then after the show, she hits me up and she goes, hey, Mike, if you're looking for something to do, check out Deadwood. You should really come down. I've got this expo. Just come down. Just see what it's about. I went down. I freaking loved it. And when I was done, I said, man, I think that's what I want to do. I want to show that I was able to be myself, and I had so many experiences. I didn't even realize it, but when the second I got to the Bullard, I think it's called Bullard Hotel, um, I went in and where I sat down was the sheriff's actual seat back in the
Mm-hmm.
day, and it was just where I naturally picked and felt comfortable. It was so awesome. Did my first SD session there. It was incredible. Um, I learned so much. I saw so much. There was a brothel there. I went to the brothel and I actually had my zipper rip off of my pants into my hand. It was nuts. And somebody almost saw nuts. That's how nuts.
Right.
Um, and I said, this is what I want to do, man. So I decided Mary Lynn was looking to do a podcast. So we kind of created this podcast. And then about a month later, I went to Virginia City, which is kind of like Deadwood's sister in a way. But Mary Lynn couldn't go. It was just me. So I meet, I tell everybody that I'm going to be very authentic, because it's Wild West. So I'm going to try my best to dress the part this time, because last time I went as a Ghostbuster. So I dressed as Woody from Toy Story. Uh, I was a little off on the authenticity, but I had such a great time, and I got to see Shane Pittman, who is from Holzer Files,
Mm-hmm.
and he's on the Holzer Files, which is now called Paranormal Mysteries, with the full season is now out on Beacon TV, by the way, and they're getting ready to start filming season 2. And he did 28 Days Haunted. I didn't, so I didn't watch anything, so I didn't really know uh, until I went there in October and I got to see him. I was like, oh, you did all this TV stuff. I got to watch it. I had a great time. It was a lot of fun. And I said, but I have this idea. I'm sure you get pitches all the time. I said, but I really do have an idea. And that's when I pitched Pair with the Normal, which is basically like a paranormal investigation meets The
Mm-hmm.
Office. So it is, paranormal investigation and The Office kind of rolled into one to kind of keep that comedic element, but you still get these moments of authentic authenticness of just revelation. Sometimes it's deep, sometimes it's heavy, sometimes it's silly. But and all of the comedy, none of it is meant to be disrespectful. It's all geared towards me, to be introspective to whatever it is that I'm trying
Right.
to go through or I'm trying to learn, if that makes sense.
That and it may kick up activity because I mean your ghosts were
Oh,
human
yes.
ones too, and they may have liked comedy back when they were alive as well. So
And that is the thing. When I do any presentations, I always talk a lot about when we go in to do a paranormal investigation. One of the things that I learned, I picked up on right away, was we really try to heavily focus on that 1%. Oh, is he? I don't know. Okay, is he good? Okay. Sorry, we're letting dogs out, and one dog doesn't like the other dogs, so we gotta make sure they're good. We focus heavily on that 1% of their life at their time of death, right? And we
hmm
completely forget and negate the other 99% of their life. Even if they were a kid, that does, if we constantly bombard them with, how'd you die? Do you know you're dead? When did you
exactly.
die? Did it hurt? Well, yeah, motherfucker, it hurt. It sucked. It's awful. It's terrible. Why are you reminding me? So I love to try to just bring that extra element in. Maybe it's comedy. Maybe it's just me talking about the weather. Maybe it's you just talking about your own problems, man. Maybe they want to hear what you got going on for once, right?
Right.
But you'd be surprised at how much all of a sudden maybe they had no interest in you and they go, wait a minute, what is it? This guy's really talking to us. This guy's really saying something different. And that really all of a sudden it can really just ramp up everything. Energy is energy, man. Energy is energy. Were there paranormal comedians that inspired me? No, because they don't exist. Now there's some that are have some funny parts, like the Ghost Brothers, right? They have their moments where they're kind of
Oh
funny,
yeah.
but I'm here to tell you there's nothing like me. Just watch Pair with the Normal, you'll completely understand. I'm so far out of left field, nobody saw it coming. But that's the goal, man. That's what makes it work. So my hope is that I'll help pave the way maybe for others to be involved in that. Dave Schrader has brought it up a couple of times about having more comedy involved with the Holzer Files slash Paranormal Mysteries um,
right.
and things of that nature. And on Beacon TV, they're currently working with Jack Osborne. So he's going to have a paranormal
Yep.
show, and you may or may not see me on that. I can't say, but you know.
right.
So I
I
just hope that
mean,
it just does continue to grow.
I think it will. I mean, look at Matt Rife that just bought my cousin's house. He's a comedian. He's into the paranormal.
Yeah, Matt Rife is, and Matt Rife he's a stand-up comedian who just has a natural interest, but he's not alone, and that. But when he does it, he takes it pretty serious. Kesha, she's a hip hop artist. She's big into that stuff. JoJo Siwa, ironically, another hip hop artist. She's big into this stuff too. So you
hmm
never know really who it's going to appeal to. I mean, Jack Osborne, his poor dad just passed away. You know what I mean? And that
Yep.
that mentally affects you. And that's actually one of the reasons why I jumped so hard and heavy into learning more about the paranormal and filming this, because the same thing happened to me. My dad just unexpectedly just done. And I realized at that point, my dad wasn't religious. Will I feel him? Is there anything for this life? Did he just live this life for no reason? Did he do enough? Am I doing enough to be worthy of whatever's supposed to come next? Right?
Right.
And I think that's a big thing as to why I think ghosts stick. Maybe they just found themselves in a place where, they don't think that they're worthy of what comes next. Or they're so afraid that they're not worthy that they're not sure what comes
Yep.
next.
Yep.
And if you don't know, you're probably going to stay put because people are afraid of the unknown, right? And that just shows you, even in the afterlife, they still may not even know. Because they might say, okay, well, I'm going to go to this white light. And then all of a sudden it takes you down instead of up, dude, because that's just how they feel. So they don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe they didn't do enough. Or maybe there is no white light or a black. Maybe you just get born again. And what if it's karmic? What if you're not worthy of a good life next? What if you come back as like, I don't know, Stephen Hawking's? You're just stuck in a wheelchair. I mean, you don't know, right?
Yeah, you don't.
You
And
don't know. So,
science don't even know.
right. And another really interesting thing that I've been looking into is you'll notice like family, they tend to stay in one area, and then you'll hear like, oh yeah, I was this and I was this, and you realize all of a sudden if you start looking at what you think you were in past lives, there's some similarities to things that you seem to like, that you're comfortable with,
Yep.
right? So I think that plays a part into where we are and why we are, so I think all this goes into that, trying to discover what it actually means to be worthy. I don't know, maybe not, man, but that's just one idiot's take,
Right. I mean, that's even like we do a lot of residential cases.
Yeah, Jerry, they are very funny. What's that?
We do a lot of residential and go into people's houses and deal with it, and a lot of it is former owners of the house that's just staying there claiming their territory. They still think they own the house, that it's still theirs. So,
Mm-hmm. And that tells you too that sometimes the hardest thing in life is letting go, right?
yep.
And sometimes that translates over into death too. You still, how do you worked? I mean, if you think of it from the point of view of, you've spent your ever loving life trying to build something, and then just like that, you have to let it all go.
Yep.
That's a tough pill to swallow. You know what I
Oh, yeah.
mean? Unless you're maybe like a $5 hooker, but
Right.
I mean, you don't know. Brandon Cooper,
Hey,
Super Trooper.
Brandon.
Thank you for
Yo,
your service,
shaman.
sir. Yeah, he's I want to say, Brandon, you were a Marine, right?
Yep.
Yep. Yep. He's a good dude. Just don't tell him.
Yeah, it might go to his head.
Crystal, Crystal and Julia both on us. Awesome. Hi guys.
Might go to the gnome's head.
Yeah, might go to the notes. Yeah.
He's the one that actually got me started in podcasting, was Brandon,
Nice.
with
With your clothes on,
Supernatural.
or?
Yeah,
Oh, good. Oh, good.
I don't want to see that grizzly bear.
But so, and I think, and so far all we've really touched on is that ghost perspective, right? But there's also that, like the Sasquatch, right? The,
Hmm.
people say, pixies, fairies, succubus, whatever. So there's that whole other element, right? That we haven't even touched on, right? Gnomes, Brandon Coopers, where'd they come from? Nobody knows. So, but the reality is, there's always that chance that there's, you always hear about like multi dimensions or
Hmm.
multiple parallels. There's no reason to believe that there aren't multiple parallels in existence at the same time, but sometimes maybe they just get so close, and it's quite possible that in this other parallel reality, that these, big feet, big feets, biggest feetists,
Right.
maximists, whatever you call them. Um, it's I think there's a good chance that maybe the reason why they're not so findable is because they're not actually here. Maybe they literally just go like loop through a little portal or some shit, and maybe they just come in here to eat, or they use the creek as a shitter, and then they bounce, for all we
Yep.
know, right? I mean, it could literally be that. And to us, maybe 200 years pass and we think we see the same Sasquatch, but to him, it's only been 30 minutes, for all we know. We don't know how time is on that side, too.
Right. And I mean, I've talked to our local Bigfoot guy, and he's watched one on thermal. Actually, was walking upright and then started shrinking down and went to an orb and just disappeared.
There you go, man. So, and that is so awesome, right? That's the entire reason why. Oh, hey, Joe. That's the whole reason why I love doing what we do, right? It's not because I want to know. I hope to God I never know, right? Because knowledge at that point, the answer means the end, and
Yeah.
you really don't want it. You really don't want there to be an end because you don't really know what the end is going to be, and you probably don't want to know, right? But
No.
I love being able to ask the questions to make us philosophically think about our endearment here. You know, what the f does it all mean? What comes
Yeah,
next? You know what I mean?
exactly. That's why none of us are professionals in this field because we learn something new every time we go out there.
Yep. I tell you what, if I ever make it to Mars, I'm going to build an above ground pool. It's going to happen.
There you go.
Do you find comedy is a tough sell in the paranormal community? Uh, on occasion. On occasion. There's people that they get afraid that you're making some type of bad joke, maybe, or they're afraid you're going to make fun of the situation, which is not the type of comedy I like to do. But there is a lot of comedy that is, especially in today's market, that is very, it's very intimidating. They want to put you down. They want to put you in a place. Uh, that's not my type of comedy, and that's not the type of comedy I think that should be reserved for anything that's involved in the afterlife. But we do have a lot of fun. I found that most people, once they get to meet me, get to know me, talk to me, I think they see that it is authentic. It's not just a shtick. It's just how I am and how I look at life, and that just makes it all the more sweeter to them. You know what I mean? And the amount of activity we get just ramps up incredibly. So, yeah, even the ghosts love the comedy. I'm telling you.
No, yeah.
Let's see here. It was that. My joke at Bigfoot Compass was, are they going to measure everyone's feet to see who has the biggest? That joke didn't go over well. It's true. Everyone is a critic, man.
Yeah.
Um, it's so true. I get it. I think humor makes the paranormal more accessible. Well, yeah, absolutely. Especially if you look at comedy is itself is born in tragedy, right? Comedy is a coping mechanism. So you just have to keep that. You got to keep that in mind.
Right.
I I believe that Bigfoot probably does try.
He
He probably
probably
does try.
does. I've been doing it a long time.
So
Probably
this is
trying
this
to.
is this is my only thing when it comes to Bigfoot, and why I think the only thing I could legitimately say as a devil's advocate to why maybe Bigfoot does not actually exist. Okay, and this is it. I have been to Florida. Have you ever been to Florida?
I haven't. My dad has, though.
Okay, I've been to Florida. There's a lot of Bigfoot sightings in Florida. I spent 30 minutes in pants in Florida. Okay, I had the worst amount of wet, straggly swamp ass I've ever had in my life. Okay. It was just, I mean, I'm just sweating down my pants. Okay. My ass crack looked like a slip and slide. Okay. If that's the case, why is it none of these photos? Anytime you see these photos of these Bigfoot out there in Florida, their hair's like neatly coiffed and flowing in the wind. I
Right.
would think it would shouldn't it be like drenched in sweat? It just flowing off of them, Or I mean, do they like shave their potty patch so they don't have that problem? Like I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. So I don't know. You never know, right? Um, Dogman. Oh, Dogman researchers. It's true. I died. That's true. Yeah, you got to be careful on the Dogman. Sometimes they are there. Sometimes you got to go fetch for them. That's uh we would definitely smell him before. Right, I would think you would smell Bigfoot. You'd be like, "Oh, that's
Well, skunk ape is notorious for down there in Florida,
skunk ape."
and when he's usually around, it smells just like a skunk because of that swamp smell.
Ah. See, well, I can't even smell anymore. So all what I could tell you, since I'm from Vegas, the first time I smelt skunk was in San Antonio, Texas. and I actually thought it was old hot dog water. I kept saying, "Hey, does somebody make hot dogs?" And they're like, "Mike, no, God, that's a skunk." I was like, "Oh, I don't know, that was hot dog water."
Right?
I couldn't tell the
But
difference.
I know I have a cousin down there in Florida that's a Bigfoot researcher, and that's my cousin Dawn was telling me, and that's what they smell every time they're out there researching. They come in contact with Bigfoot. They smell that skunky smell
Really
with them.
interesting. See, I would think they would have some type of like musk, right? Am I into all genres? All genres. I think you can't. I think if you have the capacity to believe that one of these, of all of those, exists, then it by association, you should agree in the fact that they all exist. If one can, then they all can. So I firmly believe that everything has its place. I do believe that there is aliens. I think the 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 sheer thought of there not being one is so infinitesimal in my
Mm-hmm.
mind that they have to exist. Even demons. There's no reason to believe that we haven't. If we have the imaginative capacity to create something that we think is from nothing, it came from something, right? Even a
Yep.
dragon, right? I really do think that there is some basis of realism in everything that we've picked up on. I don't know about you guys, but I'm 42 now. I'm old as fuck. But since I was 12, I've been playing D&D, dude. I've been role
You're
playing.
not as old as me.
Hey, well, hey, there you go. You look great, man. But you start using your imagination. You start having you learn how to take thoughts and paper and turn them into moving images and pictures in your mind. So I mean, look at Star Trek. They created the freaking cell phone, man, before it was
Yeah.
even a thing. It was literally just a gag, but it's a real thing now. So even though it was just something, some type of concept, some type of imagination, somebody's like, "Oh, this is hilarious. This will work." Guess what? It does actually work. So I think that shows you that maybe there is some type of reality even in our science fiction, man.
Right.
Any Ouija stories? I've only done Ouija, however you say it. There's a lot of vowels in there. Um, I've only done it once. I think I've only done it once, so I don't have any like really good stories. But I will say it was pretty accurate. Of course, I kind of cheated in the fact that I was able to do the Ouija with psychic. So I mean that made I probably getting the answers a lot easier. I really
Mm-hmm.
love my favorite thing is to use as far as equipment wise goes is dowsing rods.
Yep.
I love dowsing rods. They feel natural to me. I I like the way that I could communicate with them. It flows very freely for me. Um, I prefer that where I feel like I have some type of energy control over like a spirit box or a REM pod where you have to be more reliant upon the actual technology, right? The actual electronics, the things that you can't see or quite understand unless you maybe have focused on how all the wires and all the coding works. But I don't,
Mm-hmm.
and I haven't. Um, but I do think that there's definitely a part for that. And anyone that tells you, oh, well, you shouldn't use any technology when you ghost hunt, they're full of duty. Okay, because even a book, even a book, the writing a letter, that's all technology. None of
Yep.
that existed before a certain time, right? So, technology will always. It's not a. Don't think of it as a crush. Just think of it as a tool, and just you have to use it in moderation, with appropriateness, right? So, some people they can show up and they got like strings and they've got like six cat balls and they've got REM pods and they got their spirit box and they're putting on their SDs and they're hopping in a hydro tank, whatever it is that they're doing, and they're on the Ouija. Sometimes there's too much, right? There's just too much.
Yep.
Especially what if there's only like one ghost in there? The one ghost is gonna be like, bro, what are you trying to make me do here? Is this like a marathon? Right?
Yeah, right.
They're like, I ain't got time for this shit. So be mindful of that a little bit.
But also, like your ghosts from the 1800s, they don't know what that technology equipment that you're bringing in. They'd never seen that before.
Exactly. And here's another thing too. Why do we think that that's as far back as it goes? Who's to say
Right.
they're easily, because at one point this all used to be together, all one big gigantic land at one point. Uh, Pangea, I think it was called. Who's to say that there weren't creatures that were? I mean, they say what 50,000 years they found um, mummies of humans fifty
Yeah.
thousand years old now, right? So who's to say that we can't communicate with something that has been around that long? You know,
Right.
or do you die from being dead? Because now we've got a whole nother problem,
Yeah.
right? So how does that work? Where you can make yourself paradoxical in that regard.
Right. And that's like my buddy Robert Murphy. He makes old style, looks like the old style kerosene lantern REM pods
That's
for like
cool.
your older ghosts, so they recognize that as something from their time period.
Yeah, and one of those things we had just talked about, comfortability, right?
Yep.
They're looking for something to be comfort in, comfort food, comfort feeling. Just like, we're like, oh man, I can't wait to get back to my bed. Why? Because it's comfortable. It's what you like, it's what you know. Even if it's a crap bed, it's yours, right? You are familiar with it. That's what you want. So there's very much the fact that that could be the same way. Absolutely. Elementals, they
Yeah.
could have been here long before we were.
Yeah,
And maybe they just
they're
checked out.
connected to the earth. Like
Yeah.
your draconian star seeds are elementals and they're connected with the earth. They're older than God. So,
And it's interesting that you bring that up too. I was just looking into the hell hole. I don't know
mhm.
how familiar you are with that, but the happened in I want to say it's in Russia, maybe Ukraine, but I think it's Russia, somewhere in Russia. So they bored 12,000 meters straight down. So what was that, 6 kilometers, something like that?
Yeah,
Um,
something like that.
and they stopped because they were hearing sounds of what the geologists called the underworld. And it scared them so badly that they immediately ended the project and shut it up. And that whole town is gone, by the way. And it's very hard to get to, but you can still get down there. The but and some people that have gone down there to actually just kind of feel around, they've said they can still hear it at night sometimes. Those screams that come up from underground. So
Mhm.
Lord knows what's really down underneath us, guys. We don't know. That's the beauty. What is the oldest ghost you may have discovered? At this point, I would probably say I'm probably right around that 1800s mark, probably like 1860s, right in that maybe even a little bit before, maybe just prior to Civil War is probably the earliest that I've had experiences with. Reptilians, it's possible.
Yeah, oh
There
yeah,
could be
that's
reptilians. There there could be, we don't know. That could be where the Mario brothers live now. I don't know.
we've had our experiences with one of the reptilians, the draconian
Oh
star
yeah.
seeds in somebody's house, which they're brought in either to do harm or do good for somebody. In
Mm.
that case, it was brought in to do harm, and we actually caught it on camera in one of the rooms,
Really?
and it looked just like a human, upright, wearing a t-shirt, but the chest and everything didn't look right. It was all sunk in, bald head.
Wow.
It was the creepiest thing you ever wanted to see, and we actually got rid of it. It actually went. We sent it on its way back to where it came, and hasn't been back since.
Yeah, there's I mean, I think this is something. I had some very interesting experiences when when I was younger, when I was a kid, that were so they're so wild that you would only think that they existed in your imagination. I had we I was staying with a friend for a few months. I was 11. We were told to clean our room because our room is dirty. So we had gotten together and we had started cleaning our room. We spent all day because we got in trouble. So all day, got the room looking perfect. We were so happy. We went to sleep that night. We both had the same dream that this creature came through the window, and whatever it was, the best way I could describe it is it kind of looked like if you've ever seen a movie with Rutger Hauer called Split Second.
Yep.
There's this zodiac based monster in there, but that's kind of the only way I could describe it. In it was just large. It had talons and it had teeth and just giant eyes. And it came into the room and it was like it was looking for us, but it couldn't find us because we were sleeping. We weren't moving. And
Mm-hmm.
it tore our room up and then it left. I woke up, our entire room was effing destroyed. There were claw marks all along the tops of the wall, along the walls. The blinds were shredded and on the floor. Our toy box was completely destroyed, and we got in all the trouble. Um, but if it weren't for the fact that both myself and my best friend Stevie had the exact same dream and said the same thing to his mom before we even got a chance to talk to each other, was
Mm-hmm.
was nuts. But as you get older, you go, well, it's in your head, right? It's imagination.
Yep.
That's what cartoons are made of. And then you get into becoming an adult. You get into trying to root more into what we call reality, which is seeing only what's right in front of us, the here and now. Focus on the here and now, on your rent, on your food, on your bills, on your house, on your car, on your family. And you start to forget about all this extra just space that's up in your
Mm-hmm.
head that you're not using anymore. But guess what? It's still there. You've just shut it off.
Right.
Have you ever seen someone's or things eye change? I thought you were going to ask me if I've seen someone's thing. Unfortunately, yes. But eyes change. I have not. I can't say I've ever seen that.
I know I have. I mean, I've dealt with people that are under partial possession, full possession. So I've seen their eyes roll in the back of their heads, their eyes change black. I've seen stuff get scratched into them.
Yeah, I've seen scratches. Um, and I think a lot of it too is we also have to understand that when we go into these type of things, and we get so focused on your possession. Well, there's also something called channeling, right? So it's
Yep.
two sides of the same coin, but they are different, right? It's just channeling is more akin to method acting, whereas possession is you have no actual control of your emotion or your body,
Exactly.
right? So they are two very different things. Uh, I think like The Shining to me is a good example of maybe something that started off as that channeling as like a method acting, but then slowly grew into an actual possession because that's one of the
Right.
ways that kind of dig you in. So I think that's the other thing too is when you get into something, you feel like something like that might be happening to you. That's a great time for you to go, okay, back to back to reality, back to rent, back to home, back to family. Realize that you're still you, and that whomever or whatever is attempting to do that to you needs to take a time out.
Yeah, because like you said, plus it's all intentions is how
Oh, like granny.
your intentions are set. I mean, if you're going to do it with the mindset with bad intentions, chances are you're going to deal with something bad.
Right, it's true. Right. Yeah. Your intentions, the way you feel. And that's, a lot of the times I've done these incredibly scary. I've been in some scary, scary places. Yorktown Hospital,
Yep.
Eloise Asylum. I've been there. I've, in fact, I don't know who's familiar with the Eloise, but I did the Estes method in the tub, on I think it's the fourth floor or the third floor, I forget. And that was, I mean, just intense. But I'm so I'm so positive all the time. I'm literally just like this bright beacon is the best way I could describe it. So
Right.
while it's easy to see me like a moth to a flame, but should the moth stick around for too long, it gets burned. And I think the same thing, they ghosts, they might be interested in wanting to stay. Oh man, this is gonna be a lot of fun, and they go, I cannot with this guy.
Right.
I can't take it anymore. I'm out.
Right. And I mean, that's like even with scratches, there's two different types of scratches. Your demonic scratches are more razor blade looking scratches, to where a regular ghost that scratches you is just like someone taking their fingernails and scratching you.
Right. Yes, that's true. Now, and this is the other thing too. I think that people should be cognizant of is, though I do actually believe demons are a thing. They are very, very few and far
They
between.
are. They're
You're
rare, but
more
they're real.
likely. They're rare but real, and I tell people you're more likely when you go into these haunted houses, you're more likely to find semen than a demon. Okay,
Right.
that's just how it is. Don't bring a black light, folks. But you're more like, I mean, so don't think that it's something. And unfortunately, and this is why I really wanted to create my show, was there are shows to where they believe, hey, yeah, they're living people scare me more. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Um, there are these shows, like the Zach Baggins Ghost Expeditions, where he's getting possessed every episode.
Yeah.
There's some type of demon every episode. Like, then you start to think, well, crap, is that what it is? Is that what a haunting really is? And then and it sucks because you get this preordained thought in your head now of what it's going to be like, and it makes it so hard to operate, and it makes it so much more scary when your time is going to finally come. Because guess what? We all got we all got punch cards, and they're all going to get punched, guys.
Oh
And if
yeah.
you think that that's what it's going to be like every single time every one of us clocks out, that is awful. That is awful. That is an awful thing to have that stuck in your head, to think that that's what it's going to be. So I really want to show people, hey man, it's okay. Be you. Just be you. Be you proudly, and enjoy
Yep.
the life you have. So when you get into whatever comes next, you're ready for it.
Right.
Hey
And
Ash,
the
Project
same
Derek. Yeah.
same with demonic. I mean, the demonic. See, I study demonology under, you met Father Bob Bailey at Rock Island. That was in the Warrens Occult
Oh
Museum.
yes.
I studied
Yes.
demonology under him and Sister Farrah Rose Deal. And the demons,
Wow.
they
Two more
lay in
people
dor-
related to you.
they lay in dormant, and they don't. They'll wait. They're the
Right.
opportunists.
See, because
That's
and
why
because
they
timing is different to
disguise.
them. Yeah,
Yep.
timing is completely different to them. We think
They
that it's based on our time, but it's not.
they will lay in dormant. They know everything about you, your life. You could change your name years ago, and they'll know your original name that you changed it from.
Yep, that's
So,
true. That I mean, because to them, we spend our whole life and we think everything has got to be done right now, and um, they're on just a completely different wavelength, man. Yeah, see, everything is
oh
going
yeah,
good.
and then when they want to
The
attack,
the deep
they pick the weakest person to go after, and
always right.
that's
Yeah,
what
they are.
the whole theory with dolls too, for the vessels when it comes to that,
Yeah,
because a doll's
space time.
inviting, warm. You're gonna want to hold it like this, and there's your attachment.
Yep, or maybe they're just waiting for that right fit. It's got to be the right
Yep,
fit. You know what I mean? They got nothing but
yep,
time, right?
Yep.
So ghost researchers that attempt to debunk another's research, um, I just don't think it's valid. That's my biggest problem with something like that. Is I think it's just not necessary, because we can call it research, we can call ourselves investigators, but the reality is none of us are experts. There's no actual
Yep.
science. Anybody says that they're psycho scientists now, or they've gone to school for these things, it's all made up shit, right? I mean, we're all just kind of making shit up as we go, because that's what we do. Is how we do it. I
Yep.
mean, for all we know, we were all trying to ride on squares before we realized a wheel was better. You know what I mean? So we don't. It's all a learning process. So I think if somebody really has to go out of their way to debunk, man, we could debunk anything and everything. We can come up with excuses or justifications as to why something is a certain way or not. That's fine, but that's not the point. The point is about the journey, the experience, and the feeling. And does what is being said to you, does it resonate to you? Does it indicate to you, right? So I like watching the people that are showing, hey, this is what I felt, this is what went on, because that indicates to me, or it doesn't, right? And anybody that's attempting to debunk it, if I have to watch a whole show on why you trying to say this person is baloney, then that makes me think that, well, if you think this person's baloney, you're going to think everything's baloney. You're
Right.
just being pessimistic. Now you're trying to take you're trying to say that you're trying to say that science is everything, right? And that belief is nothing. But it's a lot like religion and science. They're the same thing with being two different sides of the same coin. People that are very religious, they get into religion because they want to believe, but they don't want to know. And then you've
Right.
got science. People that believe science is the way are people that want to know but don't want to believe. Okay. The reality is it's somewhere in the middle. There's always going to be something in the middle. So I would say go off of exactly go off of your own personal experiences. Go off of what you feel. Go off of the vibe, the feeling. How many times have you heard somebody go, man, I just got this feeling. I got this thing in my gut. I love that. I love that. And maybe sometimes you'll find some people that have some type of scientific equipment and they go, hey, I picked this up. I picked this up. This is pretty incredible. And you're like, wow, that's awesome too. Both can work.
Yep.
That's that's what I would recommend.
That's the whole point of taking notes, because say you go, we'll use like Waverly Hills for example.
It's true,
Say
actually.
you're
Yep.
you're going there the week before, you take notes, and you say your buddy's team's going there the next week, then you can take they take notes and you take them, you compare your experiences, and then you're both are maybe experiencing the same thing. That's something legit. There's no way to debunk it if you both got the same thing logged down at once.
Right. And and the thing is we all we all operate mentally on very different spectrums, right?
Yep.
And I don't mean that from an autistic point of view. However, autism is a thing, and that is also on a spectrum. But I mean us in general as people. You'll meet people all the time. Man, he's always grumpy, or he's always
You're
angry.
right.
He's always happy. This person can't pay attention. So we all operate on different spectrums. So we could literally see the same thing and have two different thoughts, right? So how do you? And so that's where the debunking thing can be so hypercritical from just one person's point of view to destroy another person's point of view. But it could be completely different for somebody else. So go and experience. And if you do meet somebody that you like, a stranger, and they were like, "Did you see that?" And you're like, "Yeah, did you see that?" That connection, dude. You can't buy that. That's a beautiful
No.
thing.
Yep. Yeah, and we had something similar like that at Waverly when we were walking back for the night. One guy and myself both seen this figure come running straight at us and blew right between both of us and then just disappeared. And we were both left looking at each other like, what the hell was that?
And that's awesome, right? And you go, "Holy mother!" That and sometimes that's like this unspoken thing you could have with that person, and maybe you meet them 5 years later, and you go, and
Yep.
you just have that connection, right? I
Yep.
love that stuff. Some of these people in here, I've met, I've talked to, we've shared experiences with. Heather, Crystal, Julia, they all went to the Cajun Country Paracon. I'll be at the next Cajun Country Paracon. I think it's in April. I'll have a VIP. There'll be a VIP party where we'll do a little investigation with everybody. Same with Ash. I don't remember if I saw you there, Ash. I think so. I hit my head, so my memory now is all kinds of wonky. But um, you meet incredible people when you do some of these
Oh
investigations,
yeah.
and maybe you don't see a lot, but you still get a lot of connections, even if it is on a personal level. So, man, just go and enjoy. Just enjoy. Be yourself.
Yeah, I mean, look at Rock Island. I ended up getting the total of how many people walked through that door. We were over 4,000
That is so absurd,
that
right?
came through there. Yeah.
Yeah. What's funny is I actually didn't even get to. I didn't actually go to see the doll, because it was so hot in the Rock Island, and
Yeah, it was hot.
because of my head injury, I have a hard time. I have a hard time keeping focused when it gets hot like that. I start to lose my vision, so I couldn't do much. Yeah, that's what I thought. Um, which is day before? Yep, it was all moving too fast. I missed it all, but some of it, yeah. Paranormal does connect people, especially with very different personalities. Thank you, Ash. I appreciate that. I'll be at Cajun Country, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. I'll also be at Booze on the Battleship too, which will be great. If you haven't heard of that one, that's gonna be on the Battleship North Carolina, and I want to say that's in April-ish too. Um, that one's gonna be amazing. We did it last year. I can't I can't even put into words how awesome that place was. And you'll get to see me on the new episode, new season, first episode of The Haunted Files, which is on Paraflix. So even though I am on Beacon, I promote and I welcome all streaming platforms that are into it. It's going to be so incredible. It's going to be awesome, man. A lot of great people, and I think you guys are going to really love it. You're going to really dig it.
Are you going to do Rock Island again next year?
I mean, if they'll have me down, man, I would consider. I would have them consider moving it maybe just a little bit later when it's maybe a little bit cooler, because my that might have been a little too much for my head. But yeah, Candy. I mean,
Usually
get out
it's
of town.
not, it's
She's
never that
amazing.
hot in October
I
for
know,
the
dude.
Midwest.
It was nuts, right? It was just out of control. It was like a
Even
weird. It was like a
e-
nude.
even in the basement, it was hot down there, and that should have been the coolest spot.
Yeah, I was. But get out of town. Candy is amazing. That's my second year doing Rock Island, and I absolutely adore her to death. So if she hits me up on it, we'll definitely talk about it right away because
I know
she's awesome.
she's already got the date already planned out for it next year already. So
That's awesome. Cool. I'm
because
sure she'll probably hit us up. So
we'll be back there again next year
nice,
also.
nice. Well, now I don't want to go. No, I'm kidding. That's gonna be awesome, man.
Well, Annabelle won't be there, so
Yeah. So are they
we're
done moving her around like for good
yeah,
there?
the whole Warren's Occult Museum is done. She's actually going into a big museum in Connecticut next year.
Really? Okay.
Yep, the Devil's on the Run tour. They just finished it up for Dan because that was Dan's thing. Now that Dan's passed away, they don't. That was it for it.
Well,
And,
Trina just said, she's hoping that she gets better. We hope you do too, Trina.
and
You're an
we
awesome
do
person.
definitely
And
prayers for you.
Ash, thank you. I'm still going through it. Um, as far as the traumatic brain injury stuff, I still have some memory issues. I forget things, and I'm doing my best. We were able to completely film a brand new season of Pair with the Normal season 2, which will hopefully come out soon. Maybe if we're lucky by early spring, but we'll see. Just got to go through the whole editing process. Turns out there's a lot to it, but
Oh
Lost Goat
yeah, I
Production.
bet.
This is actually my company, myself, Mary Lynn, and a couple others, Mike Ritchie from Charm City Paranormal. We all got together to kind of help boost what we can create, how we can create, and the time in which we can create it. So um, we're very excited for that. We're very excited for this will be our very first project, full from start to finish, along with some others. We did some great stuff in Louisiana. I'm very excited for that. You'll guys get to see and learn a little bit more about that as that's goes through the editing process and goes through the cutting room and all that jazz. And I've got a couple more projects I'm working on. One that specifically is I've decided to create a travel slash lifestyle based show for the paranormal minded. So whereas instead of it just being an investigation, it's more about the locations, where you're going to go eat, where you're going to go stay, the people you might run into, getting to know the locals, trying to make it about the local spots because you already know where you're going to go and investigate if you go down there,
Yeah.
right? You already know. I want to leave that to you. If you're going to go to Trans-Allegheny, go to Trans-Allegheny. You're going to go, but you're there for 3 to 5 days. Let me show you what's around there. Let me show you why you're staying, what you're going to be able to do while you're there, and have a great time.
Right.
Yeah, and that's kind of what that show is going to be is a little bit on that history as well. So we try to kind of cram all that together and make it just a fun, awesome travel, eating, go nuts type show. It's going to be great. Yeah, it's true. What they were before the investigation, right? Yes, we just did one of these actually in Savannah, because the Savannah Theater, very famous, very haunted, and there's a couple other locations out there that are very famous, very haunted. But we said, man, I'm here. What else can I do? I want to know where are the haunted spots to eat at? Where's some cool haunted hotels that I could sleep at? Where's where can I go sing karaoke if I'm bored? I want you to see
Right.
those things. Can you go to get a drink? Where's a good drink? What's around where I'm at with that stays local? Everybody can go to a Walmart. I want to show you other things. Oh, the theater's fantastic. Yeah, Micah and Courtney, great people, great individuals. I absolutely love them. If you could research one place that is known for having paranormal activity, whether it's a popular spot or no, where would it be? Well, what I so okay, I've got a couple, and these are going to sound some of these might be a little strange, but uh, my number one recently has actually been I really love on the anniversary to in the evening or maybe even in the early morning. I would love to do an investigation on Normandy Beach.
Oh yeah.
I would love to just see what that's like still, what the environment. That is it's France. I think it's Normandy's in France. I think is
Mm-hmm.
where they did that. I would love to have that type of experience. Also, um, Vlad's Castle, man. I mean, that's bucket list. I gotta know. You're talking about a guy that was totally fine, just a normal run of the mill, having a good life, and then he hits 40, all hell breaks loose, and he ever loving loses his shit.
Yep.
I got to know more. I cannot wait to see what's really going on in that castle as a whole. I would love to see what that's like and experience that. So, and and maybe even seeing some of these places like figuring out where Troy, the city of Troy was. That would be cool to kind of just be in that area and
Yep.
see what you can see what you can feel. I mean, there's some cool stuff out there, man. I'd love to be right over where the Titanic sank. Maybe again, same thing like on its anniversary, just to see what you can pick up psychically, spiritually. So there's some really cool stuff out there, man.
Right. Well, we got the Titanic Museum here in Branson, Missouri, that's haunted.
Really, that's awesome. Oh, and Disneyland would be dope. There's some crazy stuff in Disneyland, and same thing with Disney World.
Yep.
Yeah, Ireland
Ireland.
and England.
Yeah, oh
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, Ireland. I'm absolutely in love with everything in Ireland because it's just so incredible. And you had I want to say even a lot of the Knights Templar hid out in Ireland at one point. So there's a lot of
Yeah.
cool little connections in there that would be really awesome to kind of just jump into and see. England as well. I mean, there was so much turmoil in England. Japan. I would love to go to um, where the Battle of Sekigahara took place,
Oh
which was
yeah. Yep.
happened in 1600, and it was the deciding. Now it didn't end the war, but it was the deciding victory for the Tokugawa regime that basically introduced and created the samurai caste, the whole social system, the social construct that they had created after that, which actually was a terrible idea, it turns out. But um, still, that was a huge thing. That was a big shift for them socially and mentally and physically. And also that I would love to follow the life tracks of one of my own personal heroes, Miyamoto Musashi, who was a samurai that was involved in over 80 duels, and he won every single one. Never lost. The only time he ever lost was actually at the Battle of Sekigahara when he was a teenager, and that was it. Him and his friend. And I would love. And he was also the guy that invented the twin sword style called Niten, where he would use the katana and a wakizashi,
Yep.
and he used that as a matter of necessity to fight off an entire school at once in the woods. So I would love to go visit these places. He also wrote the Book of Five Rings, a very important piece of history there. So I would love to go visit all those places where some of those significant things took place, and to end at like his tombstone. That would be just awesome.
Yeah, we got the honor to investigate the battlefields of Gettysburg when we were there.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm yet to do that. It's funny, actually. I just got in trouble because Tom Demko, he lives in Gettysburg. He lives in the
Yep,
orphanage.
I know Tom.
He's my son because he lives in the orphanage. So I told him I adopted him. Um, so he posted this photo, and I think it's of gravestones, and there's like bags and with lights on
Hmm.
them. So I don't know what that's called. So I asked him, are those to go bags, like to go like into the air? And
Right.
somebody got really upset at me and was like, that's so disrespectful. And I was like, hold on, I don't know what that's. I don't know the actual terminology, but it's like where you put the candle in the thing, and then
Hmm.
you say your well wishes, and it's to go into the
Yep.
sky up to where they are, right? So I don't know what that's called. I recently found out it's called a sky lantern. So,
Yep.
but so sometimes things can be taken out of context. So, but yeah, so I didn't. So I don't know what that is called in Gettysburg, but they do it to like all the graves. So I would love to go and investigate where the actual battle took place. That's one thing I've yet to do.
Oh, you hear a lot of residual. I mean, even in broad daylight, we were investigating in broad daylight,
I haven't seen
and
that.
we were up on a little round top and heard a cannon go off,
Whoa!
and flagged the ranger down, asked him, "Are they doing any reenactments?" He says they're not allowed to reenact on the battlefields. And
Real? I didn't know that.
you could see the smoke roll up over the trees from the cannon.
What?
And the
Wow.
ranger heard the cannon also. He's like, I heard you guys heard that? I heard that too.
Wow. So I didn't know they're not allowed to do the
Yeah,
reenactment
they're
on
not
the
allowed
actual
to do
battlefield.
any of that on the battlefields down there.
Wow. That's incredible.
Went
I
down
but
to
I
the
get it.
bloody field down there and was walking back, and I was live on Facebook, and one of my viewers spotted it. I caught a figure on camera in broad daylight on the edge of the woods. It was there for a second and then disappeared, and it looked like a Chinese man in Chinese armor.
Wow.
And they did have a few Chinese fight in the Civil War in Gettysburg.
Really? I didn't know that. That's great. Were they on the Confederate or the
They were, I
Union?
think they were on the Union side. And then walking Devil's Den, you could actually hear in the audio when I reviewed it horses hooves galloping, and then you hear boots marching with me as I'm walking Devil's Den.
Really? See, that's the cool stuff, man.
Yep.
Right? I mean, that's just cool things to pick out and go, wow, I'm so glad I got to experience that thing. That's why that is a whole reason why I tell people, if you've never done an investigation, go. Just do
Yep.
it. Just be yourself. Go. Look, maybe you won't see anything. Maybe you won't see anything for time and time again, but that one time it does. That one time it does, I guarantee you, you will never forget it.
Yeah, Heather, the energy is intense at Devil's Den. Especially, I walked the bottom of it by myself, and you could feel you definitely alone. Like soldiers were just marching the same path with you.
Wow.
And I was going to
Um,
show my viewers, but it was all grown up how it was to run up that hill like a soldier would have, charging the
that's,
hill.
that's hard, man. That's. I often
Yeah.
wonder if they know we're from the future and they're kind of stuck in the past. It's quite possible, but also, you also have to look at it as, do they look at time linear like
Yeah.
we do? See, we only look at time linear because we're forced to, because we have a life expectancy. So we have an A to Z. But when you're dead, you start to lose that lineal thought. So maybe they don't realize that there is a past, present, or future. To them, it could just all be folded or warped or twisted,
Mm-hmm.
like pulling out a bunch, like a cable out of your car. Like the headphones that are all twisted and twined. For all we know, that's exactly the way that they see things. So they can't differentiate what is yesterday to today. Well, and ironically, um, there was a science fiction book that actually created this device. So what the device could do is it was able to look into space to where it wanted to go. Like let's say you were going to wanted to go here to 50 light years away. So anything that we see now from 50 light years away, we are seeing the past, right?
Yep.
Because all we're seeing is the light that's finally reached us. The way it looks like now is completely different, right? Because thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of years it took for it to finally reach us, right? 50 light years, right? So he created this device that actually allows it to basically telescope to that point now versus what it sees, which is actually then. And then it would use that to fold space to get to the now instead of the
Right.
then, which is pretty interesting. So again, that's something that just came from somebody's mind, but like I talked about earlier, a lot of our imagination is rooted somewhere in reality. So maybe that's just a matter of time before something like that actually and truly does develop.
Right. I mean, that's like the movie theater that we do here in Missouri that was on the episode of Dead Files. The man that was killed there in the 20s, we actually seen him, and he still looks in his time period of clothing from the 1920s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's another thing too. If you think about it, people that go through severe trauma, a lot of times they get stuck in a circuit, right?
Yep.
You People with dementia, they get stuck living the same thing over and over again. It's almost like a groundhog's day to them. So it's very possible that the trauma of their death or that heavy regret of whatever it was that led them to that demise, right? That lack of worthiness, which we talked about
Right.
earlier, can literally keep them stuck reciprocally living the same actions over and over again. Or, as some people might consider that, hell.
Right. And I mean, I've asked several times doing EVP sessions,
Good night,
do,
Annie.
do you know what year it is? And I've never got an actual response on what.
Yeah,
In the
because
31 years I've been doing it, I've never gotten an actual response on what year it is.
it's true. You know what? I've lost. I can't smell anymore. I can't taste. If somebody were to ask me, do you remember what bacon smells like? I could say, yeah, I think I can remember it. And say, well, can you describe it? Say, but I can't.
Right.
Even though it's something that has happened recently, I haven't been able to smell since May. But even in that minimal amount of time, those things start to kind of fade and blend in. And now I know that it has a smell. I know that it had a flavor, and I remember liking it. And I think I could kind of describe it, but it's not the same to me as it was then. I won't be able to describe it the same anymore. And I think it could very well be the same thing to a lot of these spirits that we talk to. When you try to ask them maybe questions that are so technically specific, it's tough. I don't know. They don't realize that they've been reliving the same thing, and parts that they could remember start to slip. And sometimes that's where that comedy or being different, all of a sudden it can, oh, holy shit, I remember something. This guy's reminded me of something. And it could
Right.
start a whole new conversation,
Yeah.
spark a whole new thing. So you never know, man.
I mean, it's like us interviewing clients in their houses and stuff. We'll run
I
a
feel you,
recorder
Jeanette.
because we just a normal conversation interviewing our clients. We'll actually get EVPs in the middle of that conversation, like they're interjecting into the conversation that we're having with a client.
Wow, see, that's cool. Let's see, kind of like to remember. It's kind of like they remember the past, but they never remember the future, even though life has kept going since they died. Like they're stuck in their own time frame. Well, you also have to think of it like this, Ash. Uh, if they died, especially if it's traumatically, they probably don't want to remember it. And if they don't
Yeah.
want to remember it, then that means they can't remember anything that comes after, right? Because you're choosing to end things prior. So anything that comes after has never happened because your death never happened.
Right.
So time stopped, maybe in that regard, which is another reason why they could be stuck in that reciprocal circuit type loop.
Well, that's like if you take a location, you start changing a haunted location, what they're used to. That's why it kicks up activity so much because you're taking what they're used to. Their atmosphere is changing.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And Jeanette, I get it. Mine's not from COVID either. I have a traumatic brain injury, and it's mucked me up. Sometimes I don't get savory, and I don't get salty, but I do get sweet sometimes. And I don't get sour either, which sucks. But so, question: why do you think they stay and don't move on? Well, Ash, I think there could be a lot of answers. I don't think there is just one answer. It's like you know, an accidental win. It could have been a lot of factors that allowed you to get
Yeah.
first place in something. You don't really know. I think it's the same thing with them. But for me, I think one of the things that I like to look at is it one of those things where they didn't feel like they were worthy enough of what comes next? Did they feel like if they attempt to move on, that they did such a terrible job in this life that they are concerned that moving on to them actually means, maybe it means going to hell. Maybe it means nothing. Maybe they don't get a chance to go to heaven. Maybe they've screwed up. They feel like screwed up so bad that there's no other recourse for them but to stay here because this is what they remember. This is what they were last comfortable with. It's possible. Do
Yep.
you think?
And
I think everybody's got a choice, but just like everybody can have a choice to maybe quit smoking, some people can do it, some people can't. Some people get on drugs, some people can get off of it cold turkey. So even though there could be a choice, that doesn't mean it's a choice you want to make.
not only that, a lot of them don't even realize that they're dead either. They still have some unfinished business left in this
Exactly. Well,
world.
that unfinished, but and that could be another thing of them just trying to figure out, hey, I'm not worthy until I complete this task.
Yep.
Right? Problem is again, they don't realize time's moved on, so that task is uncompletable.
With another good example of that, like when my grandmother, before she passed, her wishes on her house was to have her basement done.
Okay.
And when we lost her in 2010 to cancer, she hung around her house until my dad and I got the basement all finished and completed and redone. And then she moved on.
Wow. And sometimes that's all it takes, right? They're just looking for that. Hey, are you good? Okay. If you're good, I'm good. I'm out.
Yep.
because that's what they want to make sure that all, some people, it's just a matter of getting all their ducks in the row, right?
That's
Like,
even my mom. She passed away in 18 of cancer in my house, and she still shows up. She's been spotted on paranormal cases with me.
that's cool. That's cool. So, and what's really wild is I haven't even blown your minds yet, which I will do now. Movie Ghost, yeah. Uh, okay, ask you, yeah, right. Some of them don't even realize that they're dead. It's true. So, but here's a whole other shtick. Okay, um, I was talking with Sarah Lemos. Sarah Lemos is a very respected and accomplished psychic, and she's fucking phenomenal. I absolutely love her. But I had asked her, hey, when you're a medium and you see, all these people, what is that? She says, well, it's kind of like a mirror, like a window. And when I look through that person's window, I can see every person that's linked to them. Their grandpa, their uncle, their dad, their great grandpa, their great great grandpa, their great 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 grandpa. It kind of goes on like that. I said, okay, that's cool. I said, I get that. That explains how you could have the answers that you have. But then I also realized that that's that's not possible because none of those people should be here, right? If you believe in
Yep.
reincarnation, they should have reincarnated. If you believe in
Right.
heaven, they should be in heaven. If you believe in hell, they should be in hell. But that's not what she sees. That's not how it's interpreted. And then I realized, I honestly think, I think she can be right and not right at the same time. I firmly have come up with this hypothesis that when we die, we shed that life, like like a snake sheds its skin. Okay, so we basically detach every single part, everything that it was meant to be attached to stays attached to that life. Well,
Yep.
we, as a energetic being, go off to create something new, right? We use our power to keep this one in place. It gets to stay connected, so keeps everything stays running smoothly, right? Everything stays woven. However, just like a snake, when it sheds its skin, can leave little flakes of skin on its body. I think you can
Yep.
leave little fleeting memories of pasts with you as well. Maybe all of a sudden you're a prodigy on the piano. You can speak French. You don't even know how. Or you like the ocean. Or you can remember, oh, yeah, I can remember. I want to say I was an Egyptian and I had this cat, right? You might not have a bunch of integral memories of it, but you have these fleeting memories, these fleeting parts of it, showing that you still have that connection, right? It still has that that
Right.
that theta connection, right? That spiritual connection to you, but you were able to do that right thing and shed it and go. Now, there's also that possibility with ghosts, spirits that are stuck. They don't shed and go. They just stay. They don't want to shed because they're afraid. They don't know if they're worthy. They don't know what's going to come next. Maybe there's karmic. Maybe there's karmic retribution waiting for them. Maybe
Yep.
they're going to get stuck in the same thing that happened to them this time. They don't want to go through that again. Maybe there is a hell. They don't want that. Maybe there's a heaven, but they don't want to leave what's here on earth. Right? So there's so many factors that we don't think about that all could be playing a part.
Right.
So I'm not saying that what I'm saying is accurate. I'm not a scientist. I'm not religious. I don't have the facts for anybody, but it's a great thought process for us to talk about, right?
Yep. Exactly. That's even like shadow figures. Everybody believes shadow figures are to be evil. That's not
Nobody asked
100%
you,
true.
Russell. Okay. God. No, you're
But
right. Absolutely. You're totally right.
what if when they were alive, they were wearing something black and they died in something black? And that's what they came back as something dressed in black. So now they're interpreted as something evil as a shadow figure when they could just be a regular spirit.
Absolutely. And also, you have to look at black, especially here in America, England, or America, Europe. Black was the color of mourning.
Yep.
and black was probably the color you were buried in. So to you, that
Yep.
may have been that was your
Exactly.
honorary garb. You go to China, you go to Japan, that it's the reverse. It's white, right? So
Yep.
that could also play a part. Like if you watch a lot of Japanese horrors, they're not in black; they're in white. You look at the
Yep.
Ring, you look at the Grudge. They are wearing white because that to them was what is symbolic, not black. But here, it's black. It's very different. Let's see, Ash. What did you say here? To the ancestors to DNA goes back. It is. As long as they stick around here. Well, and also overall too, and we talked about this a little bit, Russell and I earlier. It also could have to do with your own levels of spiritual comfortability. You know what I mean? Maybe you just liked England. Maybe you liked America. You want to stay. You want to. Maybe you like farming. You want to stay around animals. You don't want to wind up in India, working at a street corner, eating from a diaper or whatever it is that they do there. So
Right.
you find places that you are comfortable with, or maybe where a religion is that you did like, that you were comfortable with, is more prevalent. So you try to stick to those areas. You know, I just wish one man went crossover because he thought he wasn't going to be accepted. Right? It's about finding out if you're worthy. Think about it. He eventually crossed over, and sometimes this, all it takes is just taking a moment to see your own line of reasoning, to realize, okay, well, maybe I am overreacting. Maybe
Right.
it's time for me to move on. Maybe it's time to go. I just leave this behind and just be better off. Sometimes you can make that realization, but not all of us. Maybe obviously not all of us will.
And that's where us investigators that come in to actually help that spirit. Like one case we did, there was a man there that was trapped there. He was killed in a car accident, and he thought his family was there, but his family has already crossed over. So it took us helping him, and he finally went on his way.
There you go. Well, I have a great answer for you. I would pick any place where paranormal investigations happen often, because I would do everything I possibly could to fuck with them. It would be amazing. Hopefully he did. Hopefully he did, Ash.
Well, that's like that one meme that was on Facebook. Don't come to my grave when I'm dead. I'll find you. I'll be the one chasing you up the stairs when you turn the lights out.
Right? Um, I think it's cemeteries are a very interesting thing to me. I didn't think much of them, but since I had my near death experience, or whatever you want to call it, I can actually uh, find cemeteries before I pass them, and it was pretty shocking to Mary Lynn, who was driving, because I can't drive because of my eyes anymore. Um, because I could be like, I could tell her we're coming up on a cemetery. I could feel it, which is so funny because I don't think of cemeteries as a place that I would want to go and investigate, because I don't think there's any reason for a ghost to really be there, right? Because it's a place where loved ones had set you away, right? It is a place where loved ones said farewell for you to move on, right? The only thing there now is your body. Your loved ones aren't there. Maybe they'll go back again like 5 years from now, but that's
Right.
it. You're going to want to go to places that you remember, that you were comfortable with. You never saw your burial plot. Maybe you bought it. Maybe you saw it one time, but that's not going to be enough for me to go, yeah, you know what? I'm going to move in. Right? This sounds like a terrible idea. Yes, I would absolutely prank people. I would have so much fun.
Oh
Do
yeah,
you
that
want?
would be fun.
Oh man, I do. Oh, wait a minute. I think I do remember that. Like he fell behind it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Dude,
He fell
that's
behind the freezer. Yep.
dude, that's yeah, that's nuts. Oh, it's and that's the thing. Like weird deaths can happen, right? Like the guy that played the engineer from Star Trek movies, the new Star Trek movies, the Russian kid. He
Okay.
he was trying to he was trying to open his gate. He got out of his car, tried to open his gate, but he forgot to put his car in park. He had it in neutral, and it rolled onto him and crushed him against the gate until he couldn't breathe and died out of nowhere. So, I mean, how do you move on from that? How do you not get stuck traumatically thinking, no, I'm going to come
Right.
right back. I'm going to bounce right back off of this. No, it's fine. Maybe I might. Yeah, he fell behind it. Yeah. Man, that's a tough thing. Like this. Yeah, right? Exactly. Yeah, Anton Yelchin. That's it. Yeah, absolute freak accident. And that shows you
Yeah.
things like that, they can happen. My freaking almost death was a literally a freak accident. I was on an electric scooter going a whopping 10 miles an hour, but the entire ground had been just upheaved and was never repaired. And there was nowhere to see it. There was no way to see it, and there was nowhere to go. And it flipped the entire scooter while I was on it, and it hit me in the back of the skull. That was it. I have nothing for 6 days. It's just freak accident, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I can relate to the near death experience. I had one at 12. I died from a seizure.
Oh, oh, that's true. I did do that. He was a star rising. So what was that? I'm sorry.
When I was 12, I died, came back. I had a seizure brought on by the flu, and
Ah,
so I had the near death. My dad's had it. He was in a car accident back in the 70s, and he woke up in the hospital to nuns reading his last rites.
yeah. I mean, it's nuts. What? Yeah, I woke up and I just when he was asking me, "Do you know where I am?" and I said Boulder City. They said, "No, you're at UCLA." I was like, "I am." Like, yeah, you hit your head. I was like, "I did." You know, yeah, yeah. Thanks, Ash. Where is Jimmy Hoffa buried? So it's funny you should say that. I think he was cemented. Is
Yeah, I think they
actually
gave him
right.
some concrete shoes.
Yeah, I think they actually buried his entire body in cement. So that's where I think you will never find him. My guess is he's probably somewhere inside a giant, multi-story New York skyrise. Very sick. So yeah, I mean that's just how it is.
Yeah.
I've seen three neurosurgeons, and they don't know how I'm alive. I'm not supposed to be here. I've been told that now by three very skilled doctors. I'm not even supposed to be walking. They There's no answer. I completely tore my labrum too. They don't even know how it is. It healed somehow. They don't even know how. So it's crazy, man. I'm like the Team Wolverine.
Well, that means you got a purpose left on this earth.
That's right. Absolutely. And I think my purpose is to continue to entertain. I want to entertain people, and I'm so honored and blessed that people like Grandizer 12 and Ash and Heather and Crystal and Julia, all these people stick around just to see what I'm going to do, to watch my show. Um, like you, Russell, who invited me on to your show. I can't thank you enough for the opportunity and all the
Oh, you're
opportunities
welcome.
that continue to fall my way, because it is an absolute blessing. It was a big wake up between understanding the difference between opportunity and entitlement. And I pray that everyone goes out and you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, am I accepting my opportunities, or am I trying to be entitled for what's coming my way? And you want to accept the opportunities. You want to embrace the opportunities and make the absolute most of it.
Yep.
Where do I see myself in profession? In 1 year, my hope is I'll have two more shows out, and my following will grow, my fandom will grow, and in 5 years, 10 years plus, my ultimate goal is, all I want is I want to be able to have my own booth at a Comic-Con and talk about whatever it was that I was in, sign autographs, and shoot the poop with people and just have a blast and do that for the rest of my life. Just making people laugh and be happy. That would be my ultimate goal. Whatever I'm able to create, I can make it onto something where I can go to like a Comic-Con or something like that. That would just be epic.
You'll get there. You're working hard at it. You'll get there.
Yeah, you just got to keep working
Yeah.
for sure. Always here to support you all. I appreciate that, Ash. You
Yeah.
gotta unify us. You know.
Yep. We appreciate that. I mean, there's a lot of junk that goes on in this field right now with the drama and the bashing and the bullying, and it's just garbage.
Yep. And even I've been a victim of that too. But to
We
me, I
have
look at it
to.
as, hey, so that's somebody else's. That's their own worthiness issue. You know what I mean? I just got to be myself. And thank you. I try to be 100%. That's absolutely right.
Especially like me, I get it a lot because I'm related to the controversial couple of the paranormal, Ed and Lorraine Warren. So,
Oh, right. I love that. I love that they're controversial. I think we all need to maybe some of what they thought was not accurate. Maybe some of it was imaginative, but
right?
maybe some of it was real, dude. Like that's a real thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, as far as paranormal channel, Beacon TV, Beacon TV, or streambeacontv.com. You could find my show, Para with a Normal, on there. The first 3 or 4 episodes are completely free. You don't have to put any information. But if you decide to subscribe, I would obviously be honored to have you watch the full show. It's great. It's a lot of fun, man. My it's awesome. And the next season is going to be even better. The first 2 episodes of season 1, they're a little slow as we were just, kind of getting the directors used to me and used to us filming. But from that point on, it's just gangbusters, man. You guys love it. Well, you know what, Kim? I would like to tell you it's senseless, but it's really not. I mean, it's just like everything else in life. Jealousy exists, envy
Oh yeah, it
exists.
sure does. I mean,
You know what I mean?
you make a name for yourself in this field. There's always somebody there that wants to cut it down, and
Yep. And I think that I think a beautiful thought process that I like to go off of is a rising tide, raises all sails, So if I can be successful, that means anybody can, right? There's 100 million billion ghosts out there. There's plenty of ghosts
yeah,
for
there's
everybody
enough
to
room for
go
everyone.
and have the time of their lives. I'm just trying to give a different perspective and entertain you. I want you to be able to see something, maybe laugh, maybe think, and go, okay, I can
Right.
enjoy that. You know?
Thank
Yeah.
you, Ash.
They're,
Us family of the Warrens appreciate that.
yeah. I
They
love
are
the
the
Warrens, man.
pioneers.
100%. They're one of the reasons why we're doing what we're doing.
Grant.
That is healing. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh, we always
100%.
have, even on my investigations too, we joke around. There was one case we did in somebody's house, and we got called out there, and I was like that kid, peek under the bed, see if a monster's under the bed, because it was
Yeah.
a dark demonic case that we were working, and I'm under there, looking under there, and I smell something. I immediately come right out on it, and I said, something smells like ass under here. And the owner is sitting out there with his wife in the living room, and he yells out real loud so we can hear it. Did you leave your dirty underwear under the bed again?
Dope.
And
That
then
would explain the ass smell.
we're just all cracking up laughing, and
Yeah, and that's so fun. And a lot of times, it kind of helps lower that guard on the spirits. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, okay, these guys they're not intimidating. They're not trying to be harmful. They're just like you and me, right?
yep,
Facts. It's true.
yep. Well, that's even like some of these YouTubers. They go out, oh, I got hit by a demon. I encountered a demon, and for their views. And I'm like, what are you going to actually do if you actually run into one? You're going to run
Let,
into that location screaming.
yeah. When they finally do run into one, they won't even know till it's way too late, bro. Way too late. Because that's how they work, right?
Right.
So,
Reading Ash's comment.
yeah. Yeah, you gotta,
But,
that's, you gotta be careful with those YouTubers, man, because it's just for, they're doing it just for the clicks, you know what I mean?
yeah. Yep.
Um, I want to entertain you too, but I want it to be authentic. I want you to see what it's like to be 100% me and what it's like to be, so you could go in and be 100% you. I would rather have that type of experience. Because look, I have shows, sometimes nothing happens, man. That doesn't mean it's a bad show.
Yep.
That doesn't mean it's a bad place for you to go to. It could be a great place for you to go to. We just want you to experience it. And sometimes what's crazy is sometimes I've shows where we've had some insanely incredible activity, but it winds up on the cutting room floor because that's not what my show is about, right?
Right.
I want you to experience those things, right? You don't. I'll experience some things. I want you to see what it's like when I experience some things, but for the most part, I want to just increase your curiosity. You know, you're wanting to go and do these things. I want you to
Yeah.
see where I went and go, man, I want to go there too. That looks like it would be an awesome place to go. Because if you go, and that's the one thing I don't like about some of the shows, they go in and they show you everything and they try to break everything down for you and show you all these different things that happen to them. And then you're like, well, what's the point of me going?
Right.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I want you to have your own experience because I promise you it's going to be incredible. And it doesn't mean it has to be scary. It could be emotional, it could be loving, it could be funny, it could be angry, it could be hateful, it could be scary. You don't know. You won't know until
Right.
you get to go and experience it yourself. The scariest case I've been on, the scariest one so far, honestly, um, episode 2, and we didn't even really do that much in that episode. But episode 2 takes place at Yorktown, and then we actually filmed a return to Yorktown, which hasn't been released yet, but it will be. Um, Yorktown Hospital in San Antonio, Texas, which I think is now um, not foreclosure. What do they call it when they condemned? I think it's
Yeah.
condemned. That place was literally when we went in,
Yeah. I
the
know
guy
it
who was
wasn't
running it.
very safe.
No, it was not. And when we went in, the guy who's let us in, he was like, "Yeah, do whatever you want to these ghosts. They don't pay no rent. I don't give a shit." And then left. The entire place exploded. We were hearing things being slammed, banged, thrown, screams, running sounds. It got so bad, we actually didn't even get to film. We all had to split up and go from top to bottom, go through the entire place to make sure that there was no one there. And there was no one there. And then after that, we were like, okay, we're gonna start filming now, and the place calmed down. That was pretty wild. But I've been some places in season 2, the our finale episode, easily one of the craziest places I've ever been in, and it's war themed. That's all I'm gonna reveal. But it was intense, and I was not prepared. I was not ready for that. It's just one of those things where it just kind of sometimes it just naturally
Mhm.
happens. That was incredible. And also I recommend another great place. It was on the Dead Files. We got to do a episode for Paranormal at a place called Fairbanks,
Okay.
uh,
Yep. I'm familiar
and
with that.
that's in Louisiana,
Yep.
bro. And you could stay there as an Airbnb. It's incredible. So there's definitely some places that I've been to. I've been Eloise Asylum in Detroit. Out of this, it's out of control, crazy. Let's see. I've also found some of the most active places. Oh, absolutely. One of the scariest places I ever went was a park. Yeah, Fairbanks House. Yes. So you'll get to see if you have Beacon TV. Hopefully that episode makes it on. Yeah, Sicily Island, Louisiana. That place was mind-blowingly awesome. Definitely bucket keep it on there because it is so cool. And the people that currently own it, um, uh, Sherman, one of the nicest gentlemen you'll ever meet. He keeps things appropriately priced. He's not trying to gouge you. He wants you to have an experience there, and he wants you to have an excellent time. And the place is incredible. So I definitely would recommend it. Yeah, I mean it's great. A park of all things. Yeah, we that was one of the few times when I was younger I had an attachment, and that's where it came from. And eventually, I had to take it back to the park. So
Right?
whether that's what I had to do or not, but that's what worked. So you never know. Schools and churches are usually hot spots for activity. Well, sure, yeah.
Oh,
And
I can definitely confirm that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
work in a school that's haunted.
Oh, okay. So Broadhead Manor in Wisconsin. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
that's owned by Bill Walter. That's another. It was a school like in the early like I want to say like 1890s or early 1900, 1903, something like that. And it's had this huge long life as a career. Though there may not have been any specific like horrible deaths that all this horrible death, but there was so much activity because it was like the only school, and it also acted as a convent for some nuns for a while. There's Indian burial ground near there. There's so much there. That place is incredibly awesome too. Highly recommend checking that out. Not right now because it's too cold. Go in like spring or summer for sure.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah, our park here in town is haunted because the town I live in is from like the 1800s, and it's an old military town.
Oh,
It's
cool.
named after John C. Breckinridge from Kentucky.
That's
And
awesome.
this whole town is just crazy with activity. The school was built in 1909, but there was one that sat there in the 1800s that burnt down.
Oh, wow.
I worked at
Yep.
that one, and I was head of maintenance there, and I'd be there all hours of the night working. And there was one day, this was broad daylight, middle afternoon, nobody's supposed to be in the building but me, and I hear it sounds like our cafeteria cooks talking
Oh, wow.
downstairs. So I go downstairs to go run them out and say hi to them. The kitchen's locked up tight, nobody. So I go up and watch security cameras. Nobody's came in the door, nobody's pulled in the parking lot.
Dang.
Another
So
day,
how much pot did you smoke?
none.
No.
That's the funny part of it. None. And then another time I heard our kindergarten teacher at that time, she was heard her voice in the hallway. Go downstairs to run her out, nobody there.
That's incredible.
And we got the privilege to actually investigate it. And there's the south end of the building, the bathroom door, we had it fully shut. And on video, you see hands reaching through the door from the inside, pulling the door open.
That's crazy.
And then this white mist figure comes right across the gym and disappears up onto the stage.
Wow. That's cool, man. That's the good stuff. Jeanette, to answer your question, yes, I know that for a fact. I've seen it in an investigation that we did for somebody that he was dead for 40 minutes, 45 minutes. But they had to resuscitate him 19 times and he did not come back alone. And it caused a lot of major strifes physically, health for him and for his whole family unit. I mean, it got really insane. So, I can say that I do believe that is actually a thing. Yeah, so it made Russell start smoking pot. Yeah. Um, But yeah, and so that guy who Breckenridge, and he was originally from Kentucky.
Yep, John
Uh,
C. Breckenridge.
so do they have? Are there like where you live now? Are there lots of KFCs like in his honor? Or
No,
oh, okay. I thought maybe
no, but Mormons have been through this town too.
You were talking
Their
about some of the battles and stuff.
their millstone from the Hans Mill massacre is actually up in our city park up here,
Wow.
and that is a big battle. You can see the video of that on my TikTok where we're down there now. It's an open field, and you'll see my REM pod going crazy down there. My millimeter spiking, and we were down there on the anniversary of the massacre, which happened in 1838, and it happened the day before Halloween.
Oh wow. That's see, you guys have like all these cool things out there, man. I wish I had something like serendipitous like that happen. Once I thought I found a Snickers bar, it just turned out to be dog poop. You know, I wish I had something cool like that, but there's not a lot out here like that in Vegas, man. Other than obviously bodies and barrels in Lake Mead. There, that was a real thing.
Right.
Yeah,
Then we got Missouri State Penitentiary.
Missouri State Penitentiary. So we have Nevada State Penitentiary, but that again, that's all the way up in Carson City. So that's like still not anywhere near here.
Missouri State's the bloodiest 47 acres of Missouri.
Wow, was it on its period?
I
I'm kidding.
wish. There's between the guards and the inmates getting killed in there like crazy.
Really? So they were just violent. So I did find out that I guess like in that whole like Midwest and some of that eastern side, like in Georgia, Michael Angus, he runs Old Bleckley County Jail,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, "Cool, tell me about it." He's like, "Can't. There's no records because they just didn't keep them.
Right.
They were like, you're in prison. That's it. That's all you get." So it's wild. So some of these histories on these jails, they are very violent. When Joe Dirt found the space poop. Yes. Oh man, that was so funny.
Yeah. Or the
That was such.
Stephen, or the Creep Show one with Stephen King, where he finds that meteor and touches it, and he says it's meteor shit on his finger, and he starts turning into that plant.
All right. See, you never know, folks. You never know.
Right. But yeah, Missouri State Penitentiary, it housed the notorious serial killer Robert Berdella,
Oh wow,
known as the Kansas City Butcher,
I've never heard of him. That's
and
cool.
I was able to actually cap- capture his picture in the museum for Missouri State. But that place, every time you go there, it's always something different. It's never the same activity. You always get something different every time you go.
That's true. That's true. Grandizer asked about the storming Area 51. Did I know any? I did not go, and no, I didn't know anybody that went. And what I can tell you though is Area 51 is a legitimately real place. They actually have their own aircraft that leave from Harry Reid Airport, which used to be called McCarran, and it is a white 747 with a red stripe that goes uh, horizontally or parallel to the aircraft. Um, and if you approach that fence and you attempt to cross that fence, they will shoot you. There's no questions asked.
Oh yeah,
They are not messing around out there. So no, I did not go because they will shoot you.
a buddy of mine actually did. Rupert Guy. He went up on the hill above Area 51 because he does like meditation communication to the aliens,
Oh, that's cool.
and calls them up, and he brings paranormal teams out there to confirm it with equipment when they're doing that meditation communication with them.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's interesting what he does. I've never been on one. He's been inviting me to go out, but my schedule is just so crazy. I don't get a chance to really do that.
Well, yeah, some of it is it's tough to get out to some of these odder places. I do plan on going back to Savannah. Oh, that's right. You know what's funny is that I was going to do it, but I ran out of time. We had to leave. But I would have loved to have done that. The strangest place I've investigated, or like the weirdest, it's so there's so many weird places. But I will say one of the weirdest spots was, which you'll get to see in our new season. So I won't talk too much about it. So you could see more of it, but it was called Edinburgh Manor, and it's in Iowa. I think it's in Iowa. And it was basically an insane asylum, but it was also a poorhouse. It was a terrible, terrible combination, and it is very weird there. And it's a must go to anybody. It is a must go. Jim Jones Church. I can't say that I have, but I have
I'm,
been to the bottom of a Jim Beam.
I've never been to that
Oh,
church either. I've heard of it, but I've never been to it.
the weirdest place I've gone, I didn't do an investigation because you weren't allowed to, but the weirdest place I've gone was the Capuchin catacombs in Sicily, Italy.
Okay.
There are 8,000 mummies in these catacombs that you get to. In fact, the most famous is one called the Sleeping Beauty, which was, I think she's 7 when she passed, and she is perfectly preserved, perfectly preserved.
Oh
However,
wow.
after the National Geographic did uh, their show on her, they opened her casket. She now has red blotches all over her skin. Other than that, perfectly preserved. And she was the last one to ever be done that way, and the only to ever be done that way. So, Capuchin catacombs, freaking mind blowing. And don't use a phone, don't use a camera. You're not allowed to take photos, not allowed to take pictures. And I mean that. One guy decided to do that after they explicitly told everybody not to. Some dude decided to pull out his phone. He was dragged off by police in minutes, never to be seen again. So don't do that. But it's
Oh
an awesome
wow.
experience. It is an awesome experience.
I'll show you the picture of Robert Burdella. That's what
Yeah. Oh,
he
that's
looked
him.
like when he was alive. That's Robert
Yeah.
Burdella.
He looks like Mario from Mario Brothers.
Yeah, he was known for kidnapping and torturing men. He would dump drain cleaner down their throats so they couldn't talk. And
God dang.
one guy managed to escape and he was running down Jeff City naked and they got picked up. And that's when the cops got onto Robert Burdella and they found some of the dead bodies under his house.
Wow. That's some
And
John
he,
Wayne Gacy shit.
and right hand side, that's him as a ghost.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. I see it. That's cool. That's awesome, man.
And that was caught in Missouri State. He died there of heart failure because he had heart issues and he claimed the guards weren't giving him enough of his medication.
Ah,
So,
wow. See, and something like that, I mean, when you think your alternative of leaving is hell, you're gonna stick around, right? I
yep.
mean, let's be real. Yeah, that's some creepy stuff. So I'm still trying to find more information on it, but I decided Mary Lynn and I we have a podcast too. We're gonna relaunch, or it's called Pair with an Abnormal. We usually do it on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern time. But we did one episode specifically where we were talking about serial killers, and we were trying to see which country had the most notoriously largest amount of serial killers, right? I was like, there's no way anybody's going to beat,
Right.
America, right? I was so wrong. Germany, Germany, freaking, we found this one guy in Germany that he kept notes. I want to say it was in the 1800s or 1700s or 1800s, somewhere in that range. Over 960.
Wow. That is
I can't.
crazy.
Yeah, I was like, you gotta be pooping me. So I keep trying to remember what his name was and try to find him. I haven't been able to remember what search path I took to find it, but I found him once. I'll find him again. But that was pretty wild. I'd like to go and visit more along that line. Same thing with like, I would love to like go to the places where like the Muffin Man, because the Muffin Man was
Mm,
a real person. He was a serial killing dickhead who was also a
yep.
baker. I would love to see that. And Jack the Ripper. They think that they've DNA genetically identified him as the barber. Though now there's some speculation as to whether or not it's true, but there is that. My mother had an experience with Bob Berdella. Owned his shop in Bob Berdella owned a shop in KC. Human skull in the window. Jeez, Lord,
Yep. That was one of his victims.
that's nuts to do that, man.
I did
Stupid.
a couple. I did like 3 episodes on like serial
Mm-hmm.
killers: John Wayne Gacy, BTK,
Oh yeah.
Robert Berdella, Ed Gein was another one I did.
Having a sinful box of cold cuts or whatever he says in the movie. That was
Right?
that was terrible. But
Did
yeah,
you ever see the? Did you see the Kane Hodder version of it?
no.
He did a Ed Gein movie too. He played Ed Gein. Kane Hodder did in the movie. He did a real good job playing Ed.
Oh, that's cool. I'll have to check that out. As Ed Gein is, I mean, he is historically the one of the most, even though I think he only killed 2 people, right? The rest of it was all mostly just grave robbing, but
Yep.
it was so macabre and so beyond comprehension. I mean, he is the entire reason that we have the Silence of the Lambs,
Yep.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
Yep.
both based on Ed Gein.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Nobody wants. I mean, John Wayne Gacy, he may kill more people, but it takes a certain thought process that nobody can truly fathom to do what Ed Gein was able to do.
Right. And I did the whole history. I found the whole history on Ed Gein and John Wayne Gacy and all that stuff.
Yeah, John Wayne Gacy was that dude was so ridiculously cruel. But yeah, Ed Gein, he's also from Wisconsin,
Yep.
just like Dahmer.
And if you look at them, most of them all had rough childhoods. And they were
Yep,
bullied in school and
didn't get to eat enough Cracker Jacks.
yep.
Ah,
Yeah, there's
there's
definitely
nothing in their
nothing in their
eyes.
eyes.
That's true. That's true. There's
I
lots of
believe
yeah, but
Robert
there's lots of good ones.
Berdella Robert Berdella is also he was part of that riot that Missouri State Penitentiary had. And James Earl Ray escaped from Missouri State Penitentiary just before he assassinated Dr. King.
See, you know what? This is why I'm glad you showed me the picture, and I know how terrible he was because I would have been like, what would have been funny to do back in the day? Just I would have I would do like an all men brothel, but I'd have them
Mm,
all look just like him, and I would call it Robert Bordello. You know,
yeah,
it's just. But then I realized, what, that's not going to work. That's a terrible idea.
yeah. He used to torture and rape men, and
Yeah. See,
he
it's
was
right
a
out.
very sick man.
Yeah. You what? The other one that is really crazy is Ted Bundy because
Yeah,
he was
I did
so
one.
likable, but
Yeah,
he was so brutal and vile and evil. And Ed Kemper is another one because Ed Kemper was what 6'9".
yeah,
Uh, he was the rape, torture, kill guy. I think he had his own like toy box of death or whatever. But they said like when he got in prison, for obviously for life, he was as kind as could be. It's like a gentle giant. It's nuts what some people go through, and even with Ed Gein, I want to say in his actual uh, psychological profiles in his in the audio tapes, he talks about how he just kind of he didn't even know. It was
Yep.
just kind of a haze, right? Like he wasn't really aware of what was going on. It's like that part leaves him. Like you said, there's nothing behind the eyes. Sonny Liston, the boxer, was at MSP. Oh, that's cool.
Yep. He was housed in Cell House 4 in MSP. He didn't die there, but Babyface Nelson
Yeah,
was
he
also
did.
in MSP as well.
Oh wow.
Actually, take that back. Pretty Boy Floyd.
Pretty Boy Floyd. Okay.
Yep, Pretty Boy Floyd was. And I actually investigated a hotel with my dad that has ties to him. He stayed there because the owner was actually running a mob speakeasy in the basement of his
Yeah,
hotel.
that's pretty cool.
And Bob actually had put a broken shovel inside that hotel, which was their sign that supposedly there's somebody buried in the wall in that hotel somewhere. And it's a sign that if you say something,
Twice.
this
It's
is
crazy.
what can happen to you.
Yeah, that's nuts. And yeah, Bundy escaped prison twice. I mean,
Yep.
that talk about just a very maniacally clever evil person.
That's what James Earl Ray did. He escaped Missouri State, shot Martin Luther King, and then they were chasing him around Brushy Mountain hillside because they do a run every year through the hillside like he did when they were chasing him. And then they caught him and put him in Brushy Mountain Prison there in Tennessee, and that's where he died.
Wow. James Earl Jones killed the emperor.
Yep.
Well, I mean, I guess it was revealed to be somebody else, but it was his voice.
Right.
So it's just you
But
never know, folks. You never know what people can be up to, man. It's
oh
crazy.
yeah. Well, look at that one woman serial killer. She was just absolutely nuts. That
Nuts for cereal.
I think her name was Eileen or Irene, something like that. And
Ah,
they asked her why she killed those guys, and she says, "Because I wanted to. I loved it, every minute of it."
that's crazy.
And I think she got executed. I think they lethal injected her.
That sounds fair.
But Missouri State still got the gas chamber down there that you can go and investigate too. They have the
That's
first man and woman couple were executed together in the gas chamber down there. They would kidnap and murder kids. We actually captured her on recorder in there telling us to die
dang.
in the gas chamber.
It's cool, man. Some of the things you can witness.
Then the firebug, he's down in the dungeons down there. He was housed down there for 18 years because he set the prison on fire, killing a bunch of inmates and guards. And so they put him down there. He ended up going blind, served 18 years down there. He was blind by the time he got out and had someone write a book for him.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, there we go. I realized I hit something. I was like, wait a minute. Everybody
Yep.
disappeared.
He wrote a book down there.
That's cool, man. Hey,
Eh,
I mean, sometimes you could come up with some of your best novels when you got nothing else to do.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Hitler wrote a book in prison.
Yep.
It's not a good book. That's not what I'm saying. But he did write a book while he was in prison. It was a bad idea, but that's what he came up with. The things you do when you have nothing better to do, I guess.
Yeah, Kim, I don't know
That's true.
who can murder kids, but there's some sick people out there that do.
Yeah, man. It's
I mean,
freaking awful.
look at the Conjuring story.
Look at the haunted orphanage in Gettysburg. I
Yeah.
mean that alone makes you can't even I can't fathom why somebody would want to do anything to a child. I mean, it's just nuts.
Did you get to go down in that? Did you go down in the basement, down in the hole where they shoved those kids?
You'll have to watch the episode.
I know we did. And
That place is so incredible.
we investigated. We went on the ghost tour, and then the lady, since I'm related to the Warrens and they love my family, she's like, "Oh, I'll give you extra 15 minutes before another group comes in. You guys can do whatever you want to do."
That's awesome.
So we had a ball there investigating, doing the Estes, and every time she would talk about the mistress during the tour, our tripwire would go crazy.
Rosa.
Yep.
Yes.
They would talk about her and it would just go nuts.
That's it. So, you never know. That's why you don't take candy from sweet old ladies.
Yeah, you never
Could,
know what.
could be laced with arsenic.
Right. But yeah, we had a ball at Gettysburg investigating.
Yeah, incredible place, man. I
And
gotta
then
come out to Missouri, man. We gotta
yeah,
get
definitely.
ourselves into some trouble out there.
Oh, I got locations, so
That's awesome. Yeah, we'll do it.
I,
We'll make it
I'll,
happen.
I've got connections to places Jesse James has been too, the outlaw.
Nice.
So one of the properties that I investigate, Jesse used to hide out there with his crew.
Oh, that's dope.
They used to hide him out in the barn because his farm home where he grew up isn't that far from there. So they used to pass on through there. So they'd be
You know what?
having Pinkertons after him. So they'd hide out in the barn there for a while and lay low.
I heard he had an Audi belly button. I don't know if that's true, but that's just a rumor I heard.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But
We'll have to ask in an SD session.
right? I've been to his boyhood home and I snuck some equipment in there when we
that's
were on
awesome.
tour. I snuck a digital recorder in there and I got some cool EVPs out of that place.
That's dope.
And then we were standing there and she was talking about Jesse's mom's room. And
Jesse's mom? I heard she's got it going on.
she did. She'd be the one to shoot you right between the eyes, too.
That's also true, yeah.
And my dad taps me on the shoulder and I look down and both the rocking chairs are sitting there behind us going like this.
That's cool.
Like
People
two people
just chilling, watching.
Yep, watching the tour come through. And then the reason why we went there, we got sent a picture from one of the tour guides that tried to debunk. They were taking a picture of their family outside the back of the house, and there's a window where the firebomb come through the window, and Jesse's mom showed up in the window.
That's cool.
And she's in 1800s apparel attire, and we figured, oh hell, there was just a picture reflecting through the window from the inside. So the tour guide, since we knew her, she's like, "Do you want to come back through the house with me while I lock it up?" I was like, "Sure." So she said, "This is where there's that window," and we're looking all over. There was no picture, nothing. So we decided to take a picture back there, and in between two of us, a cowboy hat shows up in the window, in between us, and then right above our heads is a young Jesse James.
That's cool.
And then his mom on the other side.
That's pretty awesome.
So she's like, if you
should have asked him about his belly button. You missed an opportunity there.
We're planning on going back there. So
okay, good.
They got a slave quarters up there, and the lady says you can go up there and do whatever you want up there. So we spirit box session.
Nice.
And we asked if Jesse was here, and we got a voice that said yes. And then I asked, "Is Frank here with you?" And he goes, "Yes, Frank's here." I said, "How about Zerelda?" Which would be Jesse's mom. And he goes, "Yes, she's here." And then you hear a boy pop on and says, "I'm here too."
Wow.
Which was Archie Samuel, Jesse's little stepbrother, who was 15 when the Pinkertons killed him when they threw the firebomb through the window and it exploded. Man. Jesse's mom took it as it exploded and threw it into the wood stove, into the fireplace, and it blew her hand off up to her. They had to cut her hand off all the way up to here because it blew this whole hand right off.
Dang. Wow. Well, you got to hand it to her.
Yeah, right.
Quantrell is buried in the Confederate cemetery in our town of Higginsville. Oh, that's awesome, Kim.
Yeah, Jesse and Frank rode with Quantrill and Bloody Bill Anderson. They were called the Quantrill Raiders
Wow.
for the Civil War.
That's wild, man.
And
It's
then,
so cool how all this stuff can kind of interconnect.
yep.
I
And then
love it.
after the war, Jesse and Frank hooked up with the Ford brothers, Cole Younger, and they started robbing trains and banks throughout Missouri, Minnesota. They've even went out to Kentucky and robbed stuff. And I lived not too far from one of the banks they robbed back in the 1800s, and that was where they got ambushed, and a couple of their crew got killed right there on the streets of Gallatin, Missouri.
Wow.
And then the cave is not too far down the road from where I live, where they hid out after they robbed that bank.
Now,
So,
robbing is literally just having a credit card and not paying it off. They would have loved it.
yeah, yeah, right.
But
And we're actually out on that my cousin's property where Jesse would hide out. We're actually out there metal detecting, looking for Jesse James's gold out there.
oh, that's cool.
We
No
were out
finds yet.
there, no finds yet. We did find a old quarter out there, a copper quarter,
Oh, that's cool.
and found an old skeleton from the 1800s, an old medicine bottle.
That's awesome.
But towards summer again, we're gonna go back out and spend a whole day out there just metal detecting, because being the Battle of Crooked River happened there, and so
That's right.
there's old remnants of old houses back in the fields back there that we're gonna go check out. And
Awesome.
yeah, that place is just crazy with history. It's got there's an old urban legend out there. His name was Nate. He was a black man accused of practicing voodoo and witchcraft. And
Oh,
back
okay.
then, the town of Lawson did not allow black people in that town. They had a strict sign up there that if you were caught in this town, they would lynch you. Well, this
Jesus.
man lived back up on a hill, back up towards the woods, and they found out where he lived and found out that he was practicing that. They drug him out of his cabin, drug him down the hill, and strung him up in the middle of the road over a bridge. And
That's
he cursed
brutal.
the bridge. And when you run over the bridge, it sounds like bones being rattled together. And they say that's his
Wow.
bones. And they can't keep boards on the bridge, nothing. They actually tore the bridge out, put a concrete bridge in there.
Wow.
And where he lived, where his cabin, he cursed the land. You go up there, you'll get bit by rattlesnakes.
Yep. Nope. I'll pass.
And how crazy it is, the one night I put in my GPS my address to come back home, and guess where the GPS leads me and stops?
Right there at the Rattlesnake Bite Motel.
Right at that bridge.
Right at the bridge. That's crazy, man.
GPS for some reason goes crazy in that area over there. We were actually looking for this one historical cemetery
All electrical stuff, man.
nobody's been buried in there since the 1800s. And so the other team that was with me, they put the address in. We're driving. We hit this back road that says the cemetery's down over. So we're going down the road. The road's getting rough, and then it's getting straight woods in between both of us. I mean, it started taking a real bad, eerie feeling like something bad happened down in there. And I said, this is like the makings of a horror movie.
Where you get that feeling, right? Yeah.
Yep. And we're waiting to see maybe a Bigfoot come running across, because I mean it's real dense. So I showed my cousin Brad on the map when we got back, and he says, you were down on the Blue Jay Trail. You were almost to the river down there.
Oh.
And he says, yeah, there's a lot of bad things that happen back in those woods back in there.
Dang.
And he says that's
Go
why
down to the
you were
water's
feeling the way
edge.
you were feeling.
That's
So
crazy,
I
man.
told my friends when we go back, I'll bring my truck and we'll go down that road and we'll go all the way down to the end of it and investigate it.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you're just asking for an investigation. You got to. Yeah, with three rocks. Oh, look in the area with three rocks together. That's cool.
There
Well,
is an
Russ,
area
I'm gonna
that
tell
we did
you.
hit
Yeah,
that's got three
to to
rocks.
to the nope ropes. Oh, geez, that's crazy.
All right, well, gonna wrap up here. If people want to get a hold of you to book you for conventions,
Yeah,
paracons, or
you could find me on Facebook, Michael Gagliano. Uh, Very easy to find. I'm also on Instagram, junk.mcgee, MCGEE. You could also find me with Para with the Normal. I'm on TikTok at Para with the Normal. So I'm all over the place, and I'm an open book. I'm willing to talk to and chat with just about anybody and everything about everything. So yeah, hit me up. I'd love to, I love to keep track and stay real, man.
all right. If you want to hang backstage for a minute, I'm gonna close the show out and I'll be right back with you in a minute.
Sounds groovy.
All right, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the show. He's a great guest. Definitely get him for your podcast. Definitely check out his show, Para with the Normal. Also, remember if you're being bullied in the paranormal field, you do have a voice. Nobody's better than anybody in this field. We're all the same. We're all after the common goal. So, with that being said, everybody, God bless. Have a good night. And we will see you next week, same time, same channel. Everybody, have a good one. Stay safe out there. God bless.